everybody, and welcome to Bugbear's Basement. This is Chester C. Busby III coming at you, and we got ourselves a very interesting show here today. We're going to be continuing the Boston by Night campaign world, and of course, we are in the beginning of Gehenna Rises, and that's going to be a lot of fun to see where these guys go and what kind of mischief they get up to. And we really appreciate you guys coming here and joining us. And good evening to you, Model. I also see Roger Heller's in here, as well as Candy Kane. Kat R is in here. She says hi, everybody. Nice to have you guys joining us again for this. And just to keep in mind, we have all the links down below. If you haven't checked them out, do so. We have that white lily still sitting there from Preston Poulter. We'd love to have you guys come and take a look at that and see if you like it, and then go support him. If that's what if you think you should do. I think it's a pretty cool comic. I like what he's doing. I like Preston in general. He's a nice fella. But I see Tank Ferris jumped up in here, Bullets in here, Eric Hawkins, awesome dude. We're getting about a crew up in here, and you're just in time. That's right, Tank. Haven't talked to you in quite a while, Tank. You do realize you still have access to a link, right? But today we are running a game, so it is kind of tight. But nevertheless, we do appreciate you guys for coming over and being part of this. But hitting that share button helps us out. We are live streamers, so of course, letting everybody know that we're live streaming right now is very helpful because YouTube doesn't do it very much anyway. But that's just
We're
how
just
it
not
rumbles.
important.
We're not. We're certainly not important at all, especially me. I'm ultra unimportant. But Goth Girls Unite. That's right, Bullet. Tank and Cat are both here. Sorry, I couldn't resist that. But anyway, let's come over here and say hello to the guys before we get started. Of course, we are joined by Comic Book Bob himself. How you doing, dude?
What's up, guys? Hopefully YouTube won't take a crap on us this week.
Yeah, I know we've had issues, right?
Oh
But
my god.
the past few days, knock wood, have been pretty good. But yeah, thanks for being here, dude. And of course, your character is Zero Plague. Now, this is an interesting little campaign we have going on because what these guys are doing is kind of a side quest to try to find and bring back Kane. Right? They're not involved in the main big deal things that are going on because they're not very powerful. But they're going to have to adapt and adjust because this is Zero Plague, who's a hacker, but he's going to have to get his hands dirty. And we're going to see how he goes about doing that, and more importantly, surviving that. So
Yeah, I should have written a backup character because he's gonna die.
he might. But there's more. But here's the thing that's really cool about Vampire. There's more than one way to skin a cat, dude. Right? Got to keep that in mind.
Oh yeah.
So then we do have a rabble rouser here. We have Mox, and his character can certainly stand his own. How you doing, Mox?
Good. How are you, Chester?
I'm great, and I think today you're going to see why I gave you those bonuses to physicality. So I hope you're ready.
Sir?
Yeah, yeah. I know you guys must be thinking, what is Chester doing? He's making him powerful. No, he's not. No, I'm not. No, no. It's going to be painful, very painful. And of
Long
course,
as
Because
he's
he's free.
long as he's meat shield enough for me, I'm all right.
that's right, right? And then of course we have Dinale Willis as well, and he is playing a bit of a chemist, actually, a bit of a chemist slash wizard type of character from a vampire point of view. Anyway, how you
Yeah.
doing, Dinale?
I'm doing excellent today. Um, I'm ready to rock and roll. See if this character will survive the night as we journey to get Kane.
Yes, and we've had a a little bit of disturbance with YouTube last week, so we're kind of out of sync a little bit. I'm going to do a recap here in a moment, just to kind of bring everyone up to speed on exactly what's going on. But most of the stuff before has been simply campaign setup, where today is going to be more about. Actually role playing the characters and trying to get stuff done. So I'm looking forward to myself. But before I do that, I would like if you guys could each give an introduction to your character, real quick, and let everybody, know what you're doing here. So let me bring up my side of things because I do have pictures for all your characters, and let's go ahead and start with Denali.
All right. Well, my character's name, and I'm playing Al Morgan, who was a biochemistry uh, graduate at Boston University before he was turned. After he was turned, of course, he had to drop out because no vampire can stay at college for for 50 years as one of the oldest vampire in the city because of so many wars and attacks. I'm a bit of a occult master, finding the cult, looking for the way to improve the vampiric condition. And as Chester mentioned, that's his goal, is to figure out a way to move forward the essence. So this road trip is actually right up his alley. He is very interested in it.
There you go. All right. Now, the guy you see sitting next to him, Damian Gibbs, this was Mad Dodge's character, but Damian has decided that this is all way too heavy for him, and he's heading for the hills, trying to find a place where he can just wait out Gehenna. It is what it is, but there you go. Let me come over to the other two guys here, and let's start with Bob and his character, Zero Plague.
Okay, Zero Plague was that guy in school that you see that you would think everybody would be picking on him, like all the jocks would be giving him every kind of swirly you can think of. But for some reason, everybody was cool with him. It's because he learned at a very early age that knowledge is power and information controls everything. And through that, he's not a physical guy. He's not that guy that engages directly. He's the information broker. He's the power behind the throne, and that's basically what his thing was. That's what brought him to the attention of the creature that made him. Even though he doesn't even know who he is, he was made by a guy called the Caitiff Maker, who basically made him and then just left him in the street.
Which is one of the mysteries of Boston, right?
Right. And being what he is, he gravitated to just doing what he did before. Just now it's all in the vampire world. And he is completely out of his element in this one.
And yeah, he is, but that can be fun as well, dude. And this is just one story in the Boston by Night. Anyway, we're going to be running this story. If things go well, we'll do a season 2, and we'll be in Boston doing other things. So I mean, that's the cool thing about role playing. You can tell as many stories as you like, right? But that doesn't, just because you're not a combat guy doesn't mean there's a lot of things you could do to help in the situation anyway. But let's come over to Mox and his character Sienna Barato.
Thanks, Chester. Sienna was born in Chicago, lived in the inner city around all the violence. At 18, she joined the military to get away from it all. She was sent to Aleppo, Syria, and it turned into a combat zone where she was turned one night when she was on patrol. The vampire that made her gave her a vial of blood instead of his own, and she awoke as a vampire and decided to try to get away from the world, and ended up somehow in Boston, where she's now staying with the other two characters in the house. She's had some really weird stuff going with last show where a symbol appeared on her stomach, and she spoke with the voice of an antediluvian god.
She did. And she basically was a herald of the antediluvian god, Baal. And of course, you guys have been made aware by the prince that Baal simply means Lord, and the only antediluvian Lord that uses that is Tzimisce. And that's not a good thing. That's probably the worst possible one you'd have to deal with, actually. So basically, Sienna was a herald of Tzimisce, is what it turned out. Now, the good thing about it is it did give you a little bit of bump and a little bit of ability, and the use that you were is finished. So you are a free agent. That was not like you're not a permanent zombie or slave of Tzimisce at all. You were just simply utilized to herald his coming. As far as it seems, as far as it goes, you are no longer important to the antediluvian himself. You hope. You pray, probably. Yeah. Anyway, so thank you very much. But let me just bring you guys up to date what's going on here. Of course, we're in Boston. And Boston is a very interesting city in vampire, as far as my vampire world goes. Understand this is a homebrew campaign. This is not, straight out of the books. All the books are absolutely amazing, especially first edition. I wasn't really happy with the second edition, and this third edition, which is kind of trying to amend or addend the old first edition. I don't care for them, so I stick with the first one. And if even if you don't role play, I would suggest go back reading some of the books, just reading, because the thing about vampire that's different than say D&D or any of those old systems is this is more of a story that you can read and also play in. It's that style of thing, and it's great reading, brilliant genius stuff that came out of these guys who created the original game for sure. But nevertheless, we're in Boston, and Boston is very important in a couple of ways. First of all, it's a mage controlled town, city. It's not controlled by vampire. Most big cities are controlled by a vampire prince, and that vampire prince is from one house or another. And you have the main power in the world, of course, is the Camarilla, and the Camarilla is an organization that came together during the burning times of the Inquisition to protect themselves. And in doing so, they created the masquerade and the rules of the masquerade. And the whole idea of the masquerade is to hide from humanity, to keep them from knowing that we exist. The greatest lie that ever told was that he is not real, right? And that's what their premise is. These princes, no matter what clan they belong to, of the 13 clans, follow these rules very clearly. But here in Boston, it's controlled by the mages, and the vampires don't have hardly any hold here at all. There have been a few attempts over the years from vampires to take back control of the city or gain first control of the city, and they have failed every time. But our vampires here, they found themselves in a fairly peaceful little situation, living in this lair here, their haven inside of Boston, down in Roxbury, and they were living a fairly peaceful life. I mean, these guys don't seem to be big street hunters. They're more blood dolls or simply purchasing their blood needs from Benny, who runs the tavern down in the house here. And this is where all the vampires in Boston hang out. But it's a pretty sad lot, to be fair. Our players have found out that Shock, the Nosferatu, and of course this is their representative as far as the other vampires are concerned. But the Nosferatu themselves have a quite a large contingency underneath the city, but this is kind of what Nosferatu do anyway. And Tati, of course, is another mystery, but she's not going to play into this current storyline very much. Nevertheless, excuse me, what has happened is the past couple of weeks, there's been a lot of breaking of the masquerade, where a prince had come into the city, and he was really pushing hard at the mages, and it doesn't make sense because he's Camarilla. And But yet there are many instances of them breaking the masquerade, and the vampires, the mages, excuse me, the magi, they're not vampires, but they kind of follow a masquerade as well, because they need to protect themselves from the vast majority around them, which is the mortal humans. But nevertheless, this went on. And of course, they found out what was going on is Gehenna was coming, and this prince was sent by the Camarel himself. He's a fourth generation, exceedingly powerful, and he's actually has four of the world's six Justicar with him to come into the city and take it back. And the reason why is because this city is one of the major loci in the world. Now, a loci is a magical center, a center point of energy within the planet itself. And of course, that's why the mages are here and why they control it, because that's what their power is all about. But our players, and we don't know exactly how the loci plays into with the antediluvians quite yet, but it is very important. And of course, when Sienna went off and heralded through with the voice of Tzimisce himself, speaking about the beginning of Gehenna. The magus himself and the prince stopped their fighting immediately and immediately started working together because the enemy of my friend is my enemy, or is it the other way around? I don't know. Nevertheless, we this is our situation now. The last we saw our characters a couple weeks ago was when the prince here himself. He's actually, his name is Lucius, and he's basically was a general. Back in the Roman times, quite a famous one. I kind of chose the name from history, but nevertheless, he was telling them that through Delilah here, who's actually his agent. Now, she's been in the house for a couple weeks, but she was just there to keep an eye on what the vampires were doing while the prince came in. But he said very clearly that or she said very clearly that the antediluvians um, had had done some pretty bad things, and had brought about a cycle of a system in a way, and they left a book. Now I'm going to kind of reiterate this in a little bit different way than I did last time. Now in that book, when because they leave, the prince and this was it Lara, and they all leave, and these guys are taking a look at the book that they left behind. And in this is a little bit new information for the guys, but in this book, what it says is that it's basically kind of the Book of Nod 2. Oddly, you've never heard of this, particularly Dinale's character Al, who is very steeped in vampire lore. The Book of Nod is probably the most important book there is to vampires, because it tells about Cain, who created vampires in the early times, and it's like their historical Bible in a way. Oh, well, this is almost like the Book of Nod 2, and it continues the story and tells that very simply, this is what had happened. Cain had come to see that the world was being polluted. He had made too many vampires, and the vampires had made too many vampires, and the humans had just become these sad gray slaves. And he decided that he needed to stop this. He had a moment of moral questioning, and he basically said, "No more vampires. We're not making any more. We got to let the humans. Of course, we need to feed, but the humans need to be allowed to breathe and express themselves and become something, become what they're destined to become." And he demanded it end. But for some reason, Cain had to leave the city where he was. This is somewhere in the Mesopotamian area, and he disappeared and went a walkabout for a long time. No one knows what he did during that time. No one knows why. But when he came back, and it doesn't say specifically how long, but it feels like it's centuries. And when he does come back, he finds that his children, his childer, did not listen to him. Not only did they not listen to him, there were far more vampires than there were before. But Cain went to the older vampires, the second and third generation, and said, "What have you done? I gave you very explicit orders." And they had been planning, they were ready, and they attacked Cain. Now they couldn't. They were always able to overwhelm him and capture him, but they were not able to kill him as much as they tried, over and over and over. And of course, while they were trying to deal with Cain, the younger generation, which they had created, was starting to rebel and taking the opportunity to gain power, and they attacked. Now, while this war, this first vampire war, was taking place, some of the higher level vampires decided that they needed to deal with Cain, and they locked him away. Now, we this book tells us very clearly where Cain is, and not only that, they built 4 keys. That's not very clear if they mean physical keys or some other kind of key. It's kind of vague in the book, but we know exactly where Cain is being held, and we know exactly where the keys are. The problem is getting to them, right? And but during the war, we'll get back to that in a minute. But during the war, what had happened was the third generation came out on top, and they even took power away by simply destroying most of the second generation, and they became the bosses. And what they did was they destroyed every other vampire that was alive, which ironically is what Cain wanted. But what they then did was take a human for each of them, because only 13 of them survived this war, and they made a new head of their house. And they decided that every new era, meaning currently we're in the era of Pisces. We're about to come into the era of Aquarius. For every new era, they would come. They would clean out all the vampires in the world and cull the humans back because humans need culling, and then they would restart the cycle again. And that's what they're doing. So the vampires of the world of the Camarilla Masquerade and stuff have misunderstood, thinking that the rising antediluvians was simply the end of the world. It's not. It's a cycle that they set in place, which is simply to manage and control the vampire of the world, the whole world itself. So these are new revelations for the guys. This is new information, new understanding for them, and therefore they have to act upon this. And what the prince has done is he has said that we're busy trying to prepare to deal with the rise of the antediluvian, which is beginning. There's all hands on deck for this. But he had brought it up to the council, the Camarilla Council, that we needed to take a team and go deal with this because as a plan B, if we can unleash Cain, Cain might well solve the problem for us anyway, right? But the Camarilla did not agree. There's like that is pointless. You don't even know if Cain is actually even alive or there's just some book you don't know. And we need to focus all of our energies toward dealing with the antediluvians. So they nixed the idea. But what the prince has done was say, you guys, you can't fight this. You're low-level people, but maybe you can help. Here's this book. Go free Cain. Make Plan B an actual possibility. Now, I think I covered everything. Did I miss anything, guys?
No.
Wow,
Nope, that's where we left
that
off.
that was a lot.
Yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah. But anyway, the age of Aquarius. Yes, that's right, Christopher. We have various ages, which are what is that? 2,380 years or 2,280 years? Isn't that right? Something
Yep.
like that.
Mhm.
We go through a cycle in the sky, which moves us from one age to another. We are about 100 years or so out from the age of Aquarius. But one of the other pieces of information they found out was the fact that these cycles are not something that happen in one night. They're something that happens over a century or so. It's a long process, actually, and when if you think about it, it makes sense. And of course, the prince himself, being a fourth generation, he actually was alive during the last cycle, the last culling, and he saw all the vampires die. He was a ghoul, and he saw his master get destroyed, and he saw the just absolute terror that the antediluvians brought to the world. And he has spent the past 200 years doing everything he can to stop that from happening. This is his focus and his purpose because he lived it, and that's who this guy is. But anyway, 13 vampires, 13 seek darkness. Vampire the Masquerade is Kingdom Hearts. Sure, why not? Or Kingdom Hearts is Vampire the Masquerade because it's pretty old. When did Kingdom Hearts come out? I don't know. But nevertheless, guys, I think I've covered everything. Thank you
Mhm.
guys for sticking with me whilst I got through that. That was a lot to tell. But you guys have a book sitting in front of you. He gave you the book, which is full of that information and other little tidbits probably. He also gave you talismans, medallions that would allow you to give you a little bit of protection versus magic, but more importantly, allows you to see which is hidden. Right now, Sienna didn't need this because she is touched by an antediluvian, in essence, created by one. So she already kind of has this naturally built into her. But yeah, so what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna look at the book and say, I don't suppose this is going to tell us what's waiting for us when we go to Wyoming.
No, Wyoming is one of the locations, and by the way, Wyoming is called is the Temple of the Earth.
Okay.
Uh, so let me see. So Al would actually be looking at the book as well. He would say, "I'll research this. We're gonna have to have a road trip to Wyoming and to these other locations. So
Oh boy.
Zero, we're gonna need a armor tank Haven because we're gonna see this is Gehenna, so order's gonna be breaking down. as we're traveling along. So I don't expect a warm welcome as we travel through different domains. So maybe we
Yeah,
can find a truck.
yeah, sure.
Or
I'll go ask. I'll go ask Prince. Till so terrified I'm gonna pass a friggin' diamond through my ass. And see if he can actually hook us up with that, because I don't know if this is a little short even for me. So this is a little short notice even for me. So yeah, I'll go. So I'll approach him, and hopefully they won't rip my head off for just existing.
Now,
well,
do keep in mind that other than the prince, you don't have much connection to the Magus, although you know his daughter Terra a little bit. But
Mhm.
you do have access to Delilah, who is the assistant of the prince himself, Lucius, and he gave her authority to help you, so you do have access to her.
Mhm.
And you also do have access a little bit to Rhaegar and the Nosferatu, because something's going on with them. They're obviously known for their information gathering, and you also, one of you, I think it was Sienna, noticed that you had obfuscated, or it's a kind of a magical ability of a vampire, were hiding over the past week, watching things very closely in the tavern, which is at the heart of this haven here. So you have multiple options for resources. Keep that in mind.
Mhm. So I'm gonna go to Delilah and ask her. Basically, well, first I'm gonna make a list of the things that we want, which is some kind of transportation. I'm thinking something along the lines of an RV that we can modify, that's been modified to keep out the sunlight if necessary. But not, but obviously not that it's going to draw any attention. And
well, I would recommend a truck because truck goes through the highway instead of an RV.
Now,
um,
It's
you want to get?
especially if
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
especially if you're gonna get if we're gonna get magical artifacts, we don't know how big it is, so we'll need that cargo space, to move forward. So we will need a truck, a actual uh, one of those big rig trucks.
Oh, you mean like an 18-wheeler?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah, that actually that would probably be a better thing and much easier to obtain at the last minute like that,
right.
rather than some A-teamed vehicle. Good idea.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so that's going on the list. Is there anything else that anybody else thinks need to go on this list? I'm thinking some emergency blood provisions. That's definite. Because I don't know about you guys, but I don't think my local connection is going to want to travel with us.
probably not. Yeah.
Right.
Any of you guys have any particular weaponry or whatnot that you use? You want anything for that? Dragon breath rounds, maybe? I don't know.
I think we should definitely get some type of body armor, and they should definitely give you guys some heavy firepower, considering you're not much in the way of fighters.
I wouldn't even know how to use it. I'll take the armor though. I'll take all the armor you can give me.
Right.
I'm the king of armor.
We'll probably need some rope, some gears for tracking down. We don't know if we're going to have to go into a weird cave or etc. I don't know how everybody's
some spelunking / climbing gear.
right. And then a good shop that mechanic shop that can reinforce the walls of our big rig for haven / command center
Okay.
idea. While you guys are doing that, or like you're doing that, I'm going to be researching this, and then I'm going to try to reach out to the Nosferatu elder to see if we can get a deal about, since we're going to go into different territories, to have a contact for every territory to give us information.
Yeah, I was thinking about that
as well.
Or at the very least, maybe they can be like, okay, you guys can park here. You'll be safe here, or something like that. I don't know.
Right.
Do you any of you guys use a particular gun or anything like that you want? Like I said, we can get maybe like if you use a shotgun or something, we can maybe get some dragon breath rounds or something. Even though I know that stuff's crazy rare.
My character does use a gun, but I could always use something stronger than
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
small
think
caliber.
about it this way: this is the end of the world, so or kind of sort of the end of the world. So,
Ask for an armory.
oh,
that we
dude,
can bring up.
I'm gonna put ridiculous stuff on here because like, and when I hand
Yeah,
it to her, like
then
you can
ask.
say no, but I'm gonna ask anyway.
Yeah, ask all that you can't have, because we'll
Yeah.
deal with it. If we die, it won't matter what
Right.
happens. So ask everything and anything that you think is useful. That's how we're going to go as well with the Nosferatus.
Yeah.
You mentioned. Wait, and just a quick question for Sienna. Did she mention that she saw the Nosferatu to us?
No, I haven't said anything to
Okay.
any.
Okay. So then what we'll do is I'll ask Benny to see if Rhaegar has come back, or to wait out to see when the next Nosferatu comes, so we can speak with the Nosferatu elder to make a deal with him.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna hook up with her and see what I can pry out of her.
All right. Well, Delilah is very easy to find. She's sitting right here in the tavern with you.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you guys are having this discussion in the tavern here. It's only been a short period since the prince left.
Yeah.
She's just sitting here quietly waiting. She is your liaison. Yeah, go ahead, dude.
Okay. I start approaching her, and then I walk over and I put my hands up like, "Come in peace. Can I have a minute?"
She says, "I am here to serve you."
Awesome. So I hand her the list,
Mhm.
and among the things on the list, I've got 18-wheeler modified for our needs. I'm thinking something along the lines of it can be locked from the inside, reinforced locking on the doors at least to keep people from busting in on us. Maybe an emergency escape out the bottom of it. Something you just like cut a hole in it real quick and just put something over top of it. Nothing this isn't anything that's going to take very long to do. Electricity in the back of it's for all my gear, and I think that's about it for the 18-wheeler. I guess there's a possibility we're going to go digging in the dirt. So the guys would like some kind of spelunking climbing gear, something along that. Body armor, I'll take all the body armor in the world that you can give me, whether it exists or it doesn't exist. I want it all. And I guess they want some too. Obviously, we're going to need some quote unquote rations because I don't think our connections are going to go traveling with us. So some emergency blood would be good. And the thing that I would like, me personally, is considering whatever city, considering we're going to this Wyoming, any contacts that you guys have. I mean, because your boss he's basically Ventru. So he's got to have some
He is
contacts.
Ventru. Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, he's basically Ventru. So he's got to have some contacts in the area. People that can harden the target for us, people that can do exactly what you're doing for us right now, which is being a point of contact. If something goes south down there, now I understand you guys are busy, but this obviously means enough to him to at least have us take a look at it. If you could give us at least one or two people that we could maybe hit up down there to help us, like I said, harden the target on what we're doing here, give us an idea of what we're going into, anything along those lines, information is key. And that's what I want.
She says, well, she has a few questions. She says, rations, fresh or stored?
Well, considering, like I said, we're dealing with the end of the world, I'll take whatever keeps us alive.
She says 3 days.
3 days? Okay.
And we need a, and I had, we also need a dedicated driver for the rig
Of
that
Yeah,
can
I'm,
course.
handle.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're gonna send a ghoul, like a ghoul or somebody with us.
She says, of course. 3 days, I'll have
Yeah.
everything prepared. She says,
Fantastic.
do you know exactly where you need to go?
Wyoming.
Well, you know it's in
That's
Wyoming just by looking at the map, the general map. But
yeah.
this is a map that was now this has been translated into English,
Hmm.
and of course it says Wyoming, but this was an ancient map. There was no Wyoming at that time,
Yeah.
so you guys probably
Um,
need to pull out a map and find out exactly where you're going.
Well, as soon as I'm done with her, the first thing I planned on doing was taking that map and going, putting it and getting an overlay
Hmm.
for it and seeing if we can narrow down exactly where this is through via GPS coordinates. See if there's anything, if this thing is like, is if it coincides with anything that actually exists there currently
Hmm.
or in the past.
Oh, okay. She needs that information, so you do that right now. And you're a
Yep.
computer guy, so this is pretty easy to do. You take out a tablet or laptop, whatever you're carrying with you, and you do this overlay, and it's pretty easy to find. And you find that slap dab, literally most almost perfectly in the middle of that dot rests the city of Gray Bull, Wyoming.
of course, it would be Crable.
Yeah. So yeah, it's there. I've never even heard of this place, so I don't even know if there would even be a vampire there
She said
because
she'll
it's out in the
look at.
middle of BFE.
She said she'll get on it. 3 days.
Awesome. We'll uh we'll start getting our crap together here then.
All right.
I'll let you know if we need anything else. So
Very
I
well.
shoot her the double guns. You have a good day, and we're gonna go prepare to save the world.
She gets up and she leaves. Now, it is actually fairly early in the evening when the prince came. It wasn't very late, so it's not even. It's like what 10 o'clock, maybe 9:30, something like that. And she takes off to go get that done. Now, one of you is going to talk to Benny, I believe.
Yes, I was going to talk to Benny to see if Nar has returned, um, or to leave him a message to meet up with us to take us to the Elder.
Oh, Benny says,
Not for. Yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
Benny says, um, yeah, I don't know anything about those guys, man. I don't stick with the Nosferatu, man. They're creepy, dude. They're creepy. I much prefer mages.
Right, Benny. But if you do see them, Ragnar come back, can you uh, tell him that we're looking for him, that we need him to guide us to the Elder?
Sure, no problem. Things are getting crazy, man. I don't know. Should I stay around? I don't know. Where's it going to be safer? I mean, is Simitsi really coming to the city? I mean, Simitsi, that guy's crazy, isn't he?
Oh yeah, very crazy.
So Benny,
Um,
Benny writes down what you told him.
yeah. Well,
No, to be
Benny.
fair, by the way, I walk over. To be fair, and none of us ever met him. So
Yeah.
That's
To
funny.
be fair,
No, you haven't.
to be fair, yeah. To be fair, I said, and to be fair, if they're anything like the Mises with the Sabat, I don't want to meet him anyways. So,
Well, I mean,
but yeah.
Samitsi and the Samitsi themselves, they are
Hmm.
basically the Cenobites from Hellraiser.
yeah,
They are flesh crafters. They're really bad news. They don't get much worse when it comes to the disgusting nature of vampires. I mean, so far this campaign has been pretty soft. We haven't, of course, we're telling more of an epic story here of Gehenna, but we haven't had a lot of the vampire hunting and that kind of stuff that can go on in a campaign. I'm sure we will. But
Yeah.
Tzimisce are no joke. It's yeah, they're even the vampires are afraid of them.
I'm sure he has a wonderful singing voice that he probably stole from somebody
Probably.
Mm,
Hmm.
with about 1,000 different throats in his head.
right. So, I'm going to research the book to see if there's any clues or anything about the first temple. that we're going to.
Sure.
Maybe see if you can harden the target on whether or not this key we're looking for is like a thing, a person, or something.
Um,
Okay.
all right. So you delve in the book. Now this has been translated into English for you. Right. This is not the original
Mhm.
copy. Obviously, that would be like a ridiculously valuable thing. But this is
Mhm.
translated in English, and there are notes been put on the side. And it's you don't know, but you get a feeling it's probably the prince himself did this. It's probably something he worked on himself. But you're looking at the there are 5 locations mentioned in the book. One is the location of where the prison of Cain is, and it's in where modern day Kazakhstan, right? But of course, that's the last place you're going to go. The other 4 places are the locations of the keys, which are thrown all over the world. One of them is located in Australia, and that one is basically sitting on top of Ayers Rock. That's that's easy location to or
Mhm.
Uluru, if you want to use the old name for it. But
Uluru.
Uluru. The other one,
Mm.
there's another one that's sitting in Africa, like in the depth of Africa. There's one that's in Russia, like way out in like Siberia, and then of course you have this one in Wyoming. Now, of course, these days America is highly, 330 million people live in America, but in those days it certainly was not like that, because you are keeping in mind here that this book is giving you a little bit of kind of a justification of your occult knowledge, because it is putting timelines very clearly, as far as there's a lot of astrological information in here, as old books tend to have. And
Mhm.
this book was written and is talking about a time that was about 16,000 years ago.
Jeez.
So
Yeah.
there you go. And
Very old.
actually, many things on the map are the map you're looking at. I should have prepared something for that, but I didn't. But the map you're looking at actually, it shows an America. From a time before, there was a giant lake in the middle of it. It's a very different looking America than the landscape than it is today. And of course, it isn't a super detailed topographical map anyway, but it is an accurate, latitude longitude map. So you're able to locate Graybill quite easily. But it is a radically different looking America than you have today. And I made sure I checked that so that our location would not have been underwater at that time, or otherwise I would have called it the Water Temple. Maybe I should have done that. That would have been clever. Yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
This is the Water Temple. I
The
was being clever. All right, no, sorry.
Legend of Zelda. Okay. The first temple is the water temple, the hardest temple. Thank you,
No,
Wyoming.
this is the Earth Temple.
Please.
The Water Temple is in Africa. By
All
the
right.
way, the Fire Temple is in Australia, and the Air Temple is in Russia. Of course,
Will not
elements, of
touch
course.
anything.
Now,
Now,
the ones in Russia, is it like in Siberia or?
it is in Siberia. It's actually located right where all of those weird radiations and weird stuff happens. There's actually an area in Russia. I don't know if you guys know about this, where there's a lot of very toxic lakes, and there's these lakes that just have weird things going on. They're quite a mystery to science, actually. And there's also like
Is it?
this field of giant circular things, stones, and they kind of appear and disappear up and out of the ground, almost like bubbling up and down. It's one of the mysteries of Russia. So
That's not near where that big meteorite strike was, is it?
no, no, that's nowhere near that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you, sir.
No,
All right.
each of these places I've taken out of ancient mythologies and stuff. So
All
anyway,
right. So I relayed that to the other to the team. What I was able to read and find out.
yep.
Okay.
While I wait. Um,
Now, the other question you had, just to answer it real quick before you guys move on, you were asking about what the key is. It's quite
mhm.
vague. You're not sure if the key is a physical thing or not. It's very vague when it talks about the key. It talks about he. It talks about possessing the body of the key. It uses these kind of words. It's very odd. You're not exactly sure what it means, and it seems the prince Lucius didn't understand exactly what it meant either, because his notes on the side show confusion.
Cool.
Um,
Now the I'm sorry. Go ahead then.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
One of the things I am going to do as well is I'm going to look. I mean, like I said, I'm going to research where these points are on this map as much as possible. You said the one in Australia is on Ayers Rock, right?
Yes,
And then the one in Africa, it's in deep dark like the deep Africa. Is there anything like a little more specific than that, or do you want me to
it's
roll for that, or
slap dab in the middle of a jungle. There's no
okay,
villages or anything nearby.
okay, no marks of any kind. All right,
Well,
thanks, sir.
and you if you as you do research on that one particular, the Ayers Rock one, the only kind of legends you have is the gods dropped the rock on Australia. That's the Aboriginal story, and of course we know the actual historical aspect of what happened. But as far as the one in the Congo, you do know that the local people that around it, their villages almost encircle it in a way, and you can find out that the locals will go nowhere near the center of that forest. It is a cursed, dreaded forest that they go nowhere near.
Gotcha.
And the one in Russia is also doesn't have people living near it. It's considered haunted and deadly and etc. like that. The Wyoming one doesn't seem to have much issue as far as that kind of stuff.
Cool
All right.
deal.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, while you guys are doing this and being busy and getting
Mhm.
into it and stuff like that, Sienna is quietly sitting there as usual. And Sienna, you see Raggar come in fully obfuscated. Now you can see him, but you know that he is obfuscated. He's using blood power, right? And he's standing right at the entryway. Of where it goes down into Al's laboratory, and then of course the entry to the underway down there. You guys know where that is, of course. And he's standing, he's looking right at you, and he's motioning with his hand to come with him.
I
He's
walk
looking at
over
you.
to I walk over to Rhaegar and I ask him, "What do you want?"
He says, "Follow me."
Real quick, Chester,
Hmm.
they gave us those medallions that actually give us that same sight, right?
Did you put it on?
Didn't know that we had to. That the you just specified exactly what I was going to ask. You're good.
There you go.
Okay.
So what do you say, Sienna?
She follows him.
All right. Now, you guys are busy doing all the stuff you just did. You're talking, you're
Mhm.
interacting with Benny, Delilah, you're writing things down, you're checking maps, you're doing all those kind of things, and you wouldn't notice. Sienna actually moves quite quietly all the time anyway. This is a very highly trained soldier. Sienna, you follow Ragnar down, and you go into the underway, and you travel for not that long, maybe 20 minutes. You're following along, and you can chit chat with Ragnar if you'd like while you're walking along.
She asks Rhaegar, "Why are um you leading me into the under layer?
The elder wants to speak to you.
Me specifically?
You are the herald of Tzimitzi.
What does the elder want from me? I don't remember anything about that."
Well, you don't know anything about him, so you wouldn't know. And he doesn't really know it. Well, he says it is not my place to say, but nevertheless, you are in no danger.
Um, she agrees to follow him and continues down
Mhm.
the
Now,
walkway.
you see occasionally, it's pretty empty. It's not like this is a bustling place. I mean, it's fairly empty. But occasionally you do see a couple groups of Nosferatu either moving through another tunnelway or coming past you or in front of you, and they're moving very quickly with very focused intention, it seems. But you move along. You come into as you're moving down the tunnel. Some of these tunnels are well lit and well kept. Others of them are not as much so. You come into a couple large antechambers that have various things going on. This is the opposite direction you went last time, so you don't see that big old Fomorian sitting there turning array on that crank. But you do see some odd things here. But of course, you're a vampire; you're used to seeing these kind of odd things. But you finally come into an area that it seems almost like it's so close that you would want to call it like a village, but it's not. But it's obviously a collection of areas where the Nosferatu live and stay. This might be their center. And sitting down in front of a stall, and this stall seems to be selling weird voodoo charms and stuff like that. You see a very old Nosferatu, and he is playing chess with another Nosferatu. And Ragnar walks up. He kind of motions to you with his hand to please wait. He goes over, he bows, and he says something quietly to this old Nosferatu. And the Nosferatu looks over you and smiles and says, "Ah, the Herald. Please come. Please come."
I walk over in front of him,
And he says,
and
please, please have a seat, have a seat." And Ragnar actually pulls a little teeny stool out. It's quite low, but he pulls a little stool out and puts it down for you to have a seat.
I sit on the stool and um, ask the elder how he is.
Well, I'm doing as well as one could expect, seeing as Gehenna has started. But nevertheless, I'm very happy to meet you. Now, I'm sure the prince and the Magus must have looked you over quite well, I'd imagine.
It would seem, and they allowed me to leave.
Oh, they did. Well, would you mind if I had our seer take a look at you?
If it pleases you,
He says, "Very well, very well." He snaps his finger, and you see this female Nosferatu come over, and she's dressed in a little bit different than most Nosferatu. Actually, most of them are quite dour and gray and almost cloistered like in their manner. But she's wearing quite bright colors, and she seems to like being an oddball. But she comes over to you, and she bows to you, and she says, "Good evening, Harold."
I reply in kind.
And she takes out her hand, she puts it on your forehead. Do you do anything to stop her?
No,
All right. And she starts humming and chanting and stuff like that. You do feel a warmth ripple through your body, and it becomes to the point where it becomes a very steady pulse of energy seems to be moving through you. You feel no harm. Matter of fact, you feel quite good. You almost feel like you did when you were human for a moment, and that's quite the sensation for you. But she does this for a couple minutes, and then she stops and she looks at the elder and and the elder says, "Oh, please, please, be free to tell. She deserves to know too." And she says, "He is touched by Tsumitsu, elder." And he said, "So it is confirmed. Is there anything else? I see no bonding or chaining to him. I think he is free of Tsumitsu's influence." Well, that is good, the elder says. Now, I hear that the prince has decided to send you on a little mission to find Cain.
that's true. That is his plan.
Hmm. I know the Camarilla forbade it, for they said it was a waste of time. But I don't know if I agree. May I be of assistance to you?
Uh, yes, in what way could you help us?
Well, I cannot do much. I certainly am in charge of the Nosferatu of Boston, and we have our network as well as it is, and we certainly could help you with that. But I think the best thing I could do would be to send Ragar with you. He's very capable.
We could always use the help. I won't refuse it.
Very well, very well. And Ragar, of course, is able to communicate with our networks around the world, and anywhere you may go, we certainly will help if we can. We do have networks pretty much everywhere. Do you know the various locations you need to go?
I know one is in Wyoming. That's the first stop we'll take.
Wyoming. Where in Wyoming?
I'm not sure exactly of the logistics. The others do.
Hmm. Very well. Well, when you have information, just give it to Ragnar, and we'll make sure we're in place to help you out. Is there anything else I can do for you?
Mm. I'm not sure. Rhaegar should ask the others of the group. They would know more than I.
Oh, very well, very well. All right, Ragnar. You know how important this mission is. He looks right at him. Ragnar bows. He says, "Go with him and assist them in every way you can." The elder stands up and he grabs your hands and kind of lifting you to stand with him. And he has the one thing about this Nosferatu is he's very Nosferatu, so he's ugly as hell, but he has a very pleasant, smiley, warm grandpa feel about him. And he says, "I do wish you luck. These are trying times, and we will do our best to help in every way. Of course, we are stout members of the Camarilla, and of course, the survival of our species. But do take Rhaegar and use him as best as you can. He's a good man."
I think the elder and we begin to head back to the bar.
All right. On the trip back, Rhaegar is much quieter than he was on the way in.
I ask Rhaegar what he is thinking.
He's thinking. He says, "I'm thinking it's the end of the world."
Mm, that's never held your tongue before, Rhaegar.
Well, things are different now. Silly politics and observations are one thing, but going up against gods, that's a whole nother matter. But I suppose in our responsibilities, we're not going after gods, we're simply going after god prisons. Do you think that will be any better?
As compared to waiting for the end of the world.
Fair enough. But I will do my duty. Now, you guys come back in. These two guys are still going around and organizing themselves and finishing up that conversation they had. It's been about an hour, and it looks like they're about ready to do something different. You guys, during your chatter, whether these two say something or not, you notice that Sienna comes walking in from the underway, or the stairwell to the underway, and Ragnar is in tow.
Now he's been kind of incognito for a while, right?
Yeah, you haven't seen much of Rhaegar since the park, right? You haven't seen him at all.
Okay. Where the hell have you been? The whole world's coming to an end.
I'm well aware.
Well, yeah, I kind of figured. Real quick, Chester, is Tati here or?
No, you haven't seen
Yeah,
Hide nor Hair of
she's
Tati.
in.
Tati is just to alleviate your curiosity. Tati is a link to one of the other storylines.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, but well, you guys, you enjoy whatever it is you guys were doing.
I brought help. Rhaegar and the elder have agreed to help us.
In what way?
It's best that you and Rhaegar discuss the logistics of what you need for this mission.
Okay. You okay. Well, I wave over Dinale's character and I tell us, let's go sit over here for a minute and head to the corner.
All right. So
Um,
you and Dinale are talking to Rhaegar, and Sienna is probably in tow as well.
yeah, I want us all to be together. It's like, look, if we're gonna be doing this, we gotta be, we all gotta be up on what each other's doing and what we know.
Hmm.
So we got a couple more days before we get the stuff that we asked for. She pretty much just said yes to everything.
She did.
If you guys need anything else, I just realized I forgot something. I'll
What'd you
ask
forget?
her as soon as I forgot the weapons, the shotguns with the dragon breath rounds.
Oh no, you didn't. It was on. You said it was on your list. It's
Oh,
on
it's
your
on the list.
list.
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
right. I just
yeah,
didn't go over it.
yeah. No, that's
Okay,
all right.
so
And not only did she agree to everything, she didn't even balk at it.
yeah, I kind of figured it's like I said, it's the end of the world. So
Yeah.
um, so the elder gave his help. Just said, "I."
Rhaegar gets more specific, and he says, "I don't know how well you understand the Nosferatu, but we are information brokers. This is what we do, and we have information networks all over this planet. I do
Mhm.
believe I have been told that you log into the Vampire Net quite a bit." As he's looking at you, Plague.
Yeah. Oh no, I totally get what you guys do, and I'm just
Yeah.
wondering. Like normally, you don't just offer it up. That's what I'm saying. But like then again, I guess because it's the end of the world.
Yes, and also the elder has offered me as an assistance to you. So I will be joining you and traveling with you and helping in any way I can.
Cool. I don't suppose you know of any Nos in the area.
I don't know the area. Sienna was unaware of the exact locations.
Okay. I jot down the location on a piece of paper and I slide it over to him.
Okay. He
Yeah,
looks.
if you can get it, if any of you guys are in the area and can maybe, like I said, scope it out, harden the target for us. Maybe have an emergency egress for us if things go sideways, which I'm pretty sure they will.
Now, as you're saying that, he took out a small palm tablet and he's kind of just tapping away on it. And you notice he's not a very expressive person. And of course, a lot of
Mhm.
Nosferatu aren't. But you notice that a pale comes over his face, though, quite obviously. And he says, "Oof, this is not good."
Problem?
The Gray Bull is not a vampire place, obviously, but
Please God, don't say wolves.
well, there are actually many werewolves in this area. This would be right in the center of werewolf territory. But that is not even what's bothering me. The problem is, this is a place that has a vampire of sorts. He's kind of a legend, but it's not a good one. This is where old Joseph lives.
And
Now,
I'm taking it that old Joseph is not a good dude.
you don't have any clue. Dinale might, though. He's got a super high occult. Dinale, give me an occult roll. Denali?
I think he's muted right now.
Maybe. Did he go walkabout
Yep.
on me?
Yeah, I'm muted.
What? Where?
What? I'm sorry. I was reading.
No. Can you give me an occult lore roll, please?
Sure. Let me see. So
This is a
5
difficult
and
one. You're going to need sevens for this, dude.
10. All right. So my specialty for analytical and kindred core applies.
For kindred as well. Absolutely. Yeah, it does. So
All right,
that brings
1,
it down
2,
to a
3,
6. Yeah.
4. Okay. So I'm rolling.
So
Throw.
every 6 you get, tell me how many successes you get.
Okay, I got 2 6, 2 7s, and a 10.
Jesus. Not only do you know who old Joseph is, it's actually kind of a hobby of yours. You found his story very fascinating.
Yeah.
Old Joseph is a truly ancient vampire that came over from the old world, actually. Long, long time ago. Actually, people are saying he was here before the colonists came to the Americas. But there's a lot of stories about old Joseph, and he is the type. He's kind of a rebel vampire. He doesn't agree with the ideas of, say, the Camarilla or the Sabbat or anybody in general. He tends to think in a more purist form that vampires are here to cull and control the human population. He almost has a werewolf type or a lichen type of thinking, actually. And
Mm-hmm.
it is kind of appropriate, especially seeing as he is, the legends say that he's some kind of weird hybrid of Gangrel and Nosferatu.
So I kind of relate that to the crew now that's forming up. I'm saying, and we're gonna have to be careful if we meet up with this vampire, because if we say we say something wrong, he'll be calling us.
Yes,
Inside
Oh,
werewolf.
he's old and powerful, but the problem is Ragnar kind of pops in. He says that well, the problem is Joseph is the vampire in the area. Any vampire there would be under his authority. In a way, he's prince. This is a little teeny town. It's not even worthy of being called a town. I mean, there's under 1,000 people live in this place, right? It's very small. It's a village, but he is in charge. He's in aspect a prince in essence, although he would balk at being called that. But
Right.
he's in charge, so any contact you have in here has to be through him anyway. You have no choice.
oh joy.
No,
Um,
yeah, but what I was saying is, Ranrock, is that we have to be careful of what we say to those kindreds and to Joe as well, because he has wolf tendencies that we might enrage him and he might cut our head off. So
yeah, and for all we know, he might actually be okay with what's about to happen.
exactly.
Mhm.
Oh
Although
boy.
Ragnar does interject and say that, nevertheless, do you not find it ironic that old Joseph is in the exact place we need to go?
Oh no, I'm sure there's something completely designed around it. Yay.
It's a
This just gets better
cosmic
and better.
joke.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I don't know about cosmic, but it's definitely a joke. Um, well, you guys have fun dealing with him because I'll talk about it, but well, actually, I don't think any of us are going to be able to hang with that guy. If he decides we're going to die, we're probably going to die.
Well, that just for the listeners here, I know we're not interacting with you guys a lot. We're kind of in the middle of telling a story, but just for with Vampire, this is quite a standard thing actually. When you play another game,
Mhm.
your DM is putting you up against things that are in general of your equal level, a little bit stronger to challenge you, a little bit weaker to move the storyline along, etc., etc. But Vampire isn't like this at all. You or your characters will intermix with humans which are weak compared to you, and possible elders or justicar as you have. This is a very normal thing in Vampire. This is not symmetrical. It is asymmetrical.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so now we know who we have to go through. I don't suppose your people know any way to actually kind of, you know, let him know we're gonna be there without insulting him and wanting to kill us just for walking into his little town.
We have no representation there. It is off the grid.
Awesome.
So we're gonna have to go there and
Announce
um,
ourselves and hope that it doesn't insult him.
Right.
insult him. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's after getting through the werewolf territories. I'm guessing
Oh,
between civilization and that small town, it's probably the werewolf territory surrounding it.
oh my God, dude! I can't believe I'm about to actually ask this because I pretty much know the answer. Does anybody know if there's any way? Okay, I can't remember who we're supposed to contact as far as mage stuff is concerned.
There is, as far as your communication with the Magi of Boston,
Um,
Tara is still your representative. Yeah.
And is she currently around?
Nope. Not at all.
Yep. Because I was gonna say, and again, I can't believe I was actually gonna say this. Maybe we could talk to the mages and see if they could talk to the werewolves.
Well,
Which
base.
I know. Just saying it, I feel stupid even saying it.
Well, you could go that route, but let me save us time. Everybody's busy. You guys have
But by the way,
access to
that was wrong. Yeah,
resources, but
that was
other
wrong
than
character.
that, everyone's
yeah.
busy.
Yeah. Well, but then, like I said, everything I just said was in character. So
No, I get that. I get
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
But
because he's like, I can't believe I'm actually going to say this.
now,
And Al would be like, it's a waste of time. They're not gonna help us.
Oh, I know.
yeah, and do keep in mind, now the prince didn't say this himself, although Delilah certainly would have, that this is. It's not like they put an edict out from the Camarilla, but in essence, the Camarilla nixed this. So in a way,
Mhm.
you're kind of working illegally in a way, right?
Yeah.
It's not
Right.
directly. They didn't say don't do that. They just said no, we're not doing that. right? So it's not like it's something you can go, hey, we're going out here trying to raise Cain. You probably don't want to say that. And I do get the pun, and
Yeah.
damn it, it was intended.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Thank you for the dad
um,
joke.
I don't know. I mean,
Well, here's the thing. He's a rebel, and if we say we're doing something that the camera said not to do, he might.
It's a fair
that's what
point.
I was
That's
thinking.
a fair point.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's probably a saving grace there.
All right. Well,
So
now,
we're the way we're gonna do this if we meet up with old Joe is we're not part of the Camarilla. We're doing something that the Camarilla specifically said, well, not specifically, but indicated not to do, because Gehenna.
We
Not sure
think it might
how.
fix everything. Yeah.
well, now
Um,
keep in mind, you guys are not Camarilla, which is
Right.
why the
yes,
prince chose you.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what we're saying. We're not Camarilla. And we're gonna tackle this because of the challenge and to balance the earth.
No, to
Right.
save your ass would be another way to look at it.
Well, he's yeah. Actually, and that's the thing I was just gonna say. Yeah, I don't think BS in this guy would probably be the best thing because he's some kind of weird hybrid. He might be able to tell.
Right.
So
But
let's just tell him, look, we're trying to save our butts, but we're doing this against the Camarilla's wishes. So
Sure.
yeah.
All right. Well, unless you guys want to have any things specific you need to do in the next 3 days, let's just pass it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would agree.
Anything you need to do?
I, go ahead.
No, go ahead, man.
I was gonna,
I was just gonna say whatever stuff we get from Delilah, I'll make sure I hand it out to everybody that needed it. The weapons are going to you guys because I don't know how to use any of that crap.
Well, you should be armed at least.
Well, I've got a gun. It's like not like these are like shotguns and stuff. It's like okay, I know which direction to point it in.
All right. So therefore, we're passing the time. All right. So
well, I was gonna say I want to go, and I didn't get a chance to talk to you, Chester, before the thing, but I want to go to where I was last located when I was in Brace because there was old books that I wanted to ransack. That had some occult knowledge in there.
okay.
So,
Well, you can do that over the 3 days. What are you looking for?
okay. There was some information about we see of blood magic, and some information about the skills that I've
Oh, right,
I've been
right, right.
working on.
Yeah, no, you're the thing your character is working on. You've been over
Yeah,
these things many times. There's not any more information you're going to gain in 3 days that you haven't gained in 3 decades.
yeah.
But you do have if you survive this, you do have a boon from a fourth generation prince. So maybe he could help,
He
right?
Okay.
already gave, I thought that's what we were getting. I didn't
Yeah,
think he. Yeah, I didn't think he gave it to us already.
yeah. I thought that was the reward if we survive.
If you
From what you
survive,
said.
yes, he will help you
Yeah,
with that. He spoke specifically to you about that because he knows you're interested in it.
yeah.
For each his own, right? But no, that would be season 2 type of stuff. Yeah,
Right. If we survive, but
if you survive.
okay, that's it. That's it.
All right,
Okay,
cool.
then that's it.
All right, so the 3 days go by. You guys organize yourself, get yourself ready. Delilah communicates with you several times during that period, and but things pass on, and you guys are ready on the early evening of the third day. And Delilah shows up, and she says, "Gentlemen and ladies," she looks over at you, Sienna, "come with me." Now you guys travel outside. You get into a large armored limo type of Escalade type of vehicle, and you go to Boston Airport. And at the airport, the vehicle actually goes right onto the airport tarmac itself, which is not something that normally happens. And you drive up and next to a large Hercules, a military vehicle, airplane, and she actually drives the vehicle right onto the thing, right?
Ooh,
The
spiffy.
door. The door closes behind you. You guys get out. Now, sitting here as you're getting out, other than this vehicle that you're in right here, there is a large. It's not an 18 wheeler. It's a straight body, but it is a very large vehicle is sitting there, and it looks beautiful, new, shiny, and teched out. There are a bunch of military type personnel moving around this place, and they're all ghouls. The only vampires that are here are the five of you, Delilah and you four. Of course, keep in mind that Ragnar is in tow. Almost immediately, the airplane begins moving, and Delilah shows you up the stairs to the kind of top area, and there's kind of a lounge area where you guys can relax. And as she does that, a bunch of military guys are following behind her with large metal crates, and they set one in front of each of you, and they walk away. She says, "The things you requested, I tried to specify them to each of your skills the best I could. I've only had a couple weeks to get to know you."
Spiffy. I pull out my cell phone and start looking for Wi-Fi in this thing.
Oh yeah, it definitely has it. It's a military vehicle, so.
Swank. Okay, I'll pop the thing open and see what's in it.
Now, in each of them, there are some particular gear specific to you guys, and I'm going to let us, make decisions on what that is specifically to you, because she has tried to cater each of these crates to you. The first thing is in each of them is a set of body armor. Now, this is full on body armor. This is not just a chest vest. This is a full on suit. It actually looks kind of superhero-y in a weird way, although it's all military black and such, of course. But it is full body suit, and as you guys are looking at that and see that, she says, "This is the best we have." And in game terms, these suits offer 3 soak.
Wow.
Yes, wow, that's very serious. You're not going to get much better than that, right? 3 soak, but it also probably should terrify you that the DM has just gave you something like that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, oh crap, we're
Yeah.
definitely hitting werewolves.
Yeah, hitting something. Yeah,
yeah.
so 3 soak, and that's 3 soak, whether it be non-lethal or lethal. It's just raw soak. All right. So that's very good armor. And she does says that there are repair parts and replacement parts available too, because you're in for a long haul. Also in there are the various things you talked about. There are some dragon flame rounds. There are some pretty solid guns, etc., etc. The things that you asked for are here, with no exception. So you guys are armed to the teeth. These are very high damaging rounds, particularly with dealing with werewolves or any other kind of supernatural. You guys have weaponry here that can accommodate that. And she also shows that across from you, you came up a stairwell and you're in a lounge, but across the where the stairway was, there's like a little mess area, a kitchen type of thing, and then beyond that, there seems to be a tech center. And there's you can see a whole bunch of weapons on the wall back there as well. So you guys have access to what you needed. Now I don't have all those mechanics sitting in front of me, although I know Dinale does. But you have some of the highest output damage weapons in the game.
Holy crap!
Oh boy.
So
Well, it's Gehenna.
I look over at Sienna. I was like, yeah, go to town. It's
Now, Sienna, your crate actually has a few personal things, but she kind of points you to the back room, more for you than these guys. And it's a soldier's delight, dude. So any kind of weapon you would want, between automatic weaponry, sidearms, shotguns, grenade launchers, all manner of stuff. And there are some supernatural or magic ordnance as well. So you understand what you're looking at more than the other guys do, and it's wonderful. You just walked into Wonderland.
Okay, I'll grab a few different guns and head back.
All right. Now, she also tells you, as you guys are in the air by now and you're flying along,
Mhm.
she tells you that this plane is at your disposal And because of the government clearance this plane has, it can go anywhere in the world as an American with diplomatic American authority, by the way.
Oh my
And
God, we were thinking so small. I should have thought this big. Oh my
yes,
God.
I was kind of wondering why you were thinking so little, but it's okay.
Oh, that
I,
won't happen anymore.
yeah, I thought bigger for you. But she also says that the vehicle downstairs is not exactly what you wanted, but it is kind of a standard type of issue we use with the Camarilla when we have to go into areas to crack out werewolf dens or various things, various issues that we have to deal with. These vehicles we use. There are places in there for you to sleep. It is, of course, protected from the sun, obviously, and it has weaponry on it and armor and escape hatches, etc., etc. There's also some extra weaponry on there, as well as a on this plane, and there is a cold storage of food for us. We are operating exclusively under the Camarilla, and although many of us, and she kind of looks a bit sad when she says this, do enjoy fresh blood from time to time, the Camarilla rather frowns upon these public displays of murder.
Sure.
So we have that. Now, you guys travel through across the country, and it takes a few hours only. Of course, it's not that far. And the plane touches down, and you guys are in the I don't know offhand, but wherever the nearest airport to Gray Bull would be, it probably would in the major cities of Wyoming, if they have one. But nevertheless, you land in the airport, and you guys begin to disengage and get off. They have of course, there's a complete crew on the plane that takes care of the plane, but there are two military, they're ghouls, that will be operating the vehicle for you, although they probably won't be too much of a use to you in the actual any kind of physicality you come into because of what you're probably dealing with. So they're not really combatants per se, but they are there to operate the vehicle and maintain during the day, and they know all the systems and stuff of this vehicle to protect it. So you guys get into that, you load on, and you drive along. And it takes a little bit of while. Like I said, I should have checked where the nearest airport was, but I'm sure it's not that far. Even at worst, an hour and a half, let's say, to get where do you need to go. So during that time, do you guys have anything you want to ask me, or any kind of comments you want to say, or any kind of preparation you want to do? Go for it.
The only thing I do is I take my gear, I go into this mobile command center that we've got, and I just start setting it up to my taste, looking at what we've got, and just getting it ready.
Now, it's pretty tight in here, to be fair, because there's so much stuff inside this vehicle, and it's not quite the size of an 18-wheeler. This is more of a straight rig type of thing, where the cab
Mhm.
is connected to the trailer itself. It's not a pivoting 18-wheeler, lockup. But nevertheless, even though it's a little bit tight, the tech in here is really high end. This communications computer setup in here not only is now you've had a long time to set up your stuff, so you probably pretty have good stuff. But this is top of the line, and the thing that probably jumps out to you most is that not only do you have internet access, you have secure military internet access.
Oh my God, I just came. All right. So yeah, I start pulling up every resource that I need for this, like the VAMP net and
Mhm, mhm.
prepping any kind of like the satellite connections that I have.
You see a DARPA link.
Oh yeah, I'm using that.
All right.
But yeah, I'm just like I said, and I do hand out. This is actually something from my own gear to all three of you guys. You have a. Let me find it here. Well, where are my notes? I hand you a. Where the damn it? I had it right here. I basically hand you an earbud and a two-way headset. Again, it's pretty much top of the line. I hand each of you one of these,
All right.
and that way we can all communicate via this.
Mhm.
And I also hand each of you a small GoPro. And given that there's got to be like they've usually got these straps on that you could actually attach them to any kind of like body armor or anything.
There you
I
go.
was just gonna have you like put it on a friggin' chain and roll around your neck. But if you've got body armor, just strap it to that stuff. That way, I can track you from the gear that I have.
Sure, and this is military body armor, so it certainly would have a camera position on it. Now you guys do know as he's giving this out and stuff, Rhaegar is already in his suit. He knows exactly how to put it on, by the way. And you notice that although he does have a sidearm, he is basically strapped a sword to his back, not an automatic weapon. And you also notice that he's on the left gauntlet armor. You see he presses a button, it opens up. Well, it kind of illuminates this little panel, and he's clicking on it, and you notice that the armor he's wearing becomes makes it look like street clothing.
What the hell? Can all of our stuff do that?
Well, now you guys are wearing those medallions I gave you, right?
Right.
Right.
All right. He nothing happened. That is an illusion. It's not
Oh,
real.
okay. All right. I just wanted to like, oh my god,
Yeah, but
that's even better than what I can come up with.
but you guys can do it
Right.
as well. This armor has this kind of magic built into it because it may well be military grade, but the vampires have got a hold of it. So it has this vampire power built into it. Now, when you're looking at the armor can do two things other than giving you 3 soak. It has protected systems so that your communication probably won't get knocked out. It also has this camouflage thing, which is works. You don't have to spend blood for it, but it is working. It only works for a vampire. The suit is using your essence to make that power work, right? But you don't have to spend blood to function it. There is a blood power in this suit, though, and therefore you have to spend 1 blood in order for it to happen. And what the suit will do is it will it doesn't work a lot. You maybe once or twice depending on the damage, but this suit will, if you spend a blood, it will actually do a kind of a heal in a way, and will boost your rolls to lethal damage. It doesn't actually heal you. It just it can protect you and make it
Fortitude.
fortitude. It can make it harder for you to be damaged, but it costs the blood to use. Whether you have fortitude or not, you do have to spend a blood to activate it. But once it's activated, it is activated for the scene. So keep that in mind.
Okay, so it has the first power of fortitude, which
It does.
downgrades all damage
It does.
for the scene.
But
Okay, so
it costs the blood to use.
that's perfectly all right.
All right.
Fortitude is awesome.
Okay.
All right. So anything else from anybody else?
Yeah. Is there any type of specialty grenades
Yes.
that would be specific to werewolves?
There absolutely are. You have grenades that will deal with vampires, being a little bit of a light grenade, kind of like the ones of the Blade 2, similar to that. Of course, that's extremely dangerous for you to use as well. So you have to be very careful with that. And there are Wolfsbane grenades as well, meant to deal with silver. They basically shoot out silver type of chunks and stuff. So yes, you have, and there are other things here too. There are some that deal with wraith in particular. There's even a grenade that you're kind of reading the write up of it and on the cover of the little box it's in, and it actually will reduce the effectiveness of a magi.
Okay,
Okay.
awesome.
I'm actually gonna take one of those silver grenades. Just
Okay.
just to have it.
Now-
Same here. I would also look see in my thing if there's any other medallions that has warding, like warding against not even warding, but hiding our presence from werewolves.
This is not something that a vampire can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's blood. No, blood sorcery.
Yes, I understand that, but
Yeah.
the werewolves aren't going to know you're vampires instinctively anyway, unless you're right on top of them. And even
Right.
then, it depends on the werewolf. But no, there's nothing here like that. No.
Okay.
Well, I think we're ready to go.
Yep.
Yep.
Now, of course, you guys are already driving along. Did you have something you want to say, Mox?
Yeah, I was trying to ask again. You said there was a light grenade for vampires, wolfsbane, anti-magic user grenade, and what was the other?
Just standard, incendiaries and frag grenades and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you also said there was one for wraiths, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
there's one.
right.
There is something that would deal with spirits as well. Yeah, and of course, you guys have no idea what you're going to get into. You don't know what's here.
Yeah.
You have no clue,
Right.
right? All you know, this is an ancient temple built specifically to hold and secure a key, one of four keys, to open the tomb of Cain. That's all you know, right?
Okay.
Right.
Which
So
is a mouthful.
let's go talk to Jacob.
All right. Now you guys drive along, and of course there are cameras in here, especially in the tech center up on the top, that are show all around this truck. And there are a couple times that you see a groups of bikers pass by the truck, and they seem very interested in the truck, but they don't do anything. They just kind of motor along. But you travel the whatever time it is, about an hour, hour and a half, I'd imagine, and you end up in Grable. Here's a picture of Grable, and this is all of Grable, just so you know. So
Oh,
I'm not sharing with
nice.
you guys particularly, but let me come over here. I can share with you. So all right, so just click on white box me if you want to see that. So make sure that everything is showing the way I want. It is excellent. So this is Grable, and of course your guys are here. I couldn't find a night. There's not many pictures of Grable, everybody. I do apologize, but of course this is nighttime. You're rolling in here. This is not daytime, obviously, but it's a little teeny place, and it's kind of fresh and pretty as you're looking at. This is a real picture of the place, and it looks like everything was just built yesterday, doesn't it? It's a creepy little place, dude. It is creepy, but Greybull
Yeah.
has a very small population. This is a very teeny place, for sure. But you guys come riding into the city, and now you don't know anything. You know this is where you need to be. Matter of fact, the point you need to be as far as the map is, and now that map wasn't down to the meter, but the dot is just on top of where Greybull is today. So you're not exactly sure where you have to go in here. You don't know exactly who you need to talk to, other than you know old Joseph is here somewhere. You don't know anything actually. So what do you guys want to do?
Okay. Well, maybe we should take a walk along the Yield Strip Mall town here and see if we can pick out any of our people using these nifty little medallions.
Well,
Qu- question.
you know a vampire when you see one. You know a human when you see one. This is not a. You don't need
Yeah.
anything special for that.
Well, just in case they're hiding or something.
Oh, of course you should be wearing the medallions. Yeah, Denali.
I was gonna say, is there any spirits nearby?
You're talking about as far as your occult stuff with Wraith and stuff. You don't see anything particular. Matter of fact, when you guys get out of the truck, which we'll say is parked on the left side of the road here, you see there are a
Mhm.
couple little cafes and maybe a restaurant. There's not much here. Mainly it would be a couple of cafes, I'd say. But one thing that strikes you, Denelli, is you're kind of paying attention to that. You don't see anything supernatural at all anywhere. Matter of fact,
Ah,
this seems like the most cookie cutter place in the world, actually.
hmm. Well, I put a like little splinter of wood on my lips, and I'm just rolling my tongue as I'm observing everything around. Um, and then I kind of briefly, quietly mention to the other guys what I'm not seeing.
And now, Denali, you're the one with the high occult, right?
Right.
Okay. This is gonna be a tough roll, but make an occult lore roll for me and tell me what you get.
Okay. Does the kindred roll works on this one or no?
It does, most certainly, yeah.
Okay. So same roll as last time. I got 6, 10, 9, 9.
Wow, nice rolls. All
Hmm.
right. The 10 is you do have three successes there. You needed a 9, by the way. So this is near impossible, but I know your cult was very high. You notice that the medallions that the prince gave you, they don't
Hmm.
seem to be. There's something going on with it. There's something weird going on with it, and they don't seem to be functioning correctly for some reason.
Huh. Can I see if there's any investigation, anything that I can perceive? What's
Absolutely. What kind of skills do you have that might help you with that?
Let's see. I have danger sense, a Q sense.
No, this would be
Uh,
mechanical. This would do you have any kind of
How
like a
about
magic understanding or
Aspects.
auspex?
I got
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Use that in conjunction with occult, please.
All right. So just that.
can we do some kind of a synergy thing where I use one of my like my pad or something, so I get an idea of if there's any kind of unusual tech going on here?
This is completely magical.
Okay.
So you want me to add one my aspects to my roll?
No, add take your occult and your auspex and roll them together.
Oh, okay. So okay, that's one, and that's a cult. That's 5, 6. Okay. 5, 2, 2, 2. Where are you? Okay. 1, 2, 6. I got a 10, a 10, and a 7.
Jesus, dude. All right. Yeah, you see that on the back of these medallions there are
Mm-hmm.
the various crystals, and this is where the magical energies come from. And these crystals actually can be adjusted on the back, actually. And you feel like they're out of alignment for some reason, as far as what you need them to be at this moment. And you realign it. And and then you stand there awestruck, and you tell the other guys to do the same. I'm assuming
Yeah, I'm
and they
like, guys, do this.
and
Yeah.
you do as well. And as you guys do this and adjust your medallions, you actually see what is really here. This is not what Greybull looks like. Well, of course, this is what the world sees. This is what Greybull looks like.
Oh boy. I think we found the Earth Temple.
Think you might have.
Well, shit.
But this is quite impressive, even from your point of view, the level of knowledge you have in occult and magic, Denali. This is a world. This is literally a local area illusion that is fully sustainable and permeating. It's impressive,
Oh
dude.
wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
Well, I think we figured out what Joe's job is.
maybe.
Mm, we
So,
gotta be careful what we say if he isn't listening already.
Yeah.
I want to just make sure, see if I perceive anything. Um,
well, now that you can see clearly, you see that this is what it looks like. It's very run down. There
mhm.
are a few people. The people you see milling on the street, they are milling about, but every single one of them are werewolves.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
There's not a lot.
Uh,
You only see maybe milling around, and they look at you occasionally, but they don't seem to be bothered by you very much. But you see maybe 6 or 7 people milling around, but they are vampires. Excuse me, they are werewolves. Sorry.
okay, so I think we should walk up this path
Yeah.
non-threateningly, and hopefully, and considering what this place is and who's around here, they're probably going to see us coming. And yeah,
They already know you're there. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So let's, like I said, very non-threateningly, just start moving towards them, and hopefully they are willing to talk.
Right.
Now, do you guys, you do have 2 ghouls sitting in the vehicle. Did you say anything to them or just leave them be?
Um, I just lean in real quick and say, "Hey, you guys, hang out here, drink some coffee. We will, we'll catch you guys in a bit."
All right. You guys
Yeah.
walk up the path, and as you cross that gateway, you see right here, one of the werewolves is it's actually a kind of older dude. No, it's not an older
Mhm.
dude. It's an older Asian lady. actually. And she
Hmm.
walks up to you and she says, "Why are Camarilla vampires in my city?"
Oh, we're not Cam.
Hmm.
I can't believe I just said that. Um,
She sniffs the air around you. Really? You stink of Camarilla technology.
well, we know some of them, but we come in we come in peace. I'm out of my element here, lady. I don't mean to be cause any problems or anything, but yeah. You want to step in here anytime, man?
You're talking to me, or are you talking to Ragnar?
No, I'm talking to anybody at this point. I don't
Okay,
deal with people very
so
well.
so yeah, we're independents, and we're trying to go uh, and try to save the world.
Save the
um,
world. Ah,
yeah,
Gehenna. Oh, that's what you vampires call it, isn't it? Hmm.
yeah.
And she starts sniffing on towards Sienna, and she's like, "There's something odd about this one." Oh well, I'm here. I'm sure you're here to see Joseph.
Sure, if he's taking visitors and is in a good mood.
Fine, come along.
Okay.
She guides you through this, and even though these are ancient ruins you're looking at here, sitting on the surface, and there's obviously some drops into the subterranean world you can see here. The landscape is very different looking than Gray Bull itself looks, which makes you maybe wonder how do people walk around looking like that? It's a confusing magic that must be going on here, but nevertheless. She takes you and you go through here, and as you're walking along, you've probably seen 100 werewolves just milling around doing their thing. There's a couple like little they're open. Those are all stone, right? But there's a couple open door places where like taverns, and they're just sitting drinking and laughing, and they seem to be having a good old time. There's not a sense of gloom or anger or anything like that. They're all quite happy. But she takes you to this place that looks a little bit like a temple and an old temple. And she kind of walks in, and there's a guy that's sitting down, and he's there's a couple other werewolves sitting next to him, but he's not a werewolf. He's a vampire for damn sure. You can tell. And he's just sitting there, and they're watching TV. And matter of fact, they're watching old Benny Hill reruns and they're laughing and chuckling. And the interesting thing about the old he's the only vampire in the room other than you, by the way. These are all werewolves around him. But the vampire that's watching it, he looks like a Native American. He doesn't look anything at all like a
I see.
Westerner, right? And a matter of fact, this is what he looks like. And the old lady that is leading you in, that's her.
Hmm.
So
Wait.
she leads you up. He's sitting there watching Benny Hill. He doesn't seem to acknowledge your presence yet. What would you like to do? She says nothing, by the way.
Um, I think we should wait until he actually acknowledges we're here because I don't want to make him angry. But that's
And
just me.
Dinale?
Um, I look at to see what they're watching, the Benny Hills, and I kind of chuckle after a moment.
That's Benny Hill. It's funny.
Yeah, yeah, it's funny. Enjoy it. If we're gonna wait, I'm just gonna watch.
Mox?
There's a bar here, isn't there?
You passed that a little whiles back, yeah, maybe about 30 yards back. Outside this temple, there's a bar where people are talking, yeah. But in this room, there just maybe about five people, the old Joseph and four werewolves, and you and this lady, and they're just watching Benny Hill. Now they might well be drinking beer themselves, but this is not a tavern, no.
Uh, if there is there a free chair in the room?
There are several, yes.
I drag one over and pull it beside him and sit down.
Oh, jeez.
All right. He looks over at you.
I tell him that we are here to speak with you of a matter of urgency.
I see. Well, everything is always urgent with you Camarillas. What brings you to my city?
Um, the end of the world.
Ah, yes, Gehenna. Well, it happens. Every era, a matter of fact. This is just the current one.
We plan to try to stop this one.
I see. So you're here for the key.
Indeed.
Hmm. Well, you can try, but you'll never get past the Guardian.
And what is the Guardian?
The end of your life.
Hmm.
Care to harden the target on that a little bit?
He looks back at you. The Guardian who has been placed here, I don't know, what was it, 16,000 years ago, I guess, by all reckoning, to protect the temple. But then again, all the temples have their own guardians, don't they? But I'm sure you're well aware of that, aren't you? Seeing as you were looking to raise Cain. Oh my, that is an extreme choice by the Kimbrella. I would expect they would not have taken that route, he says.
Well, desperate times.
I see. But don't mind me. I don't care what you do. If you want to suicide yourself into the underground, go right ahead. Just do not
Um,
disturb my peace.
I don't suppose you could give us maybe a hint about the Guardian, like what it is, what it looks like.
It is
I
a
don't mean to
monster.
take up your time.
It is a monster. It is a beast created in the old time by the original generations, and they would create all manner of chimeric creatures for their own pleasure. Of course, it is the time of the Nephilim for you young folks. I'm sure you know of those things, but it is one of the creatures from there, a very successful one actually. But it has been roaming those underways for quite a while. But that's not why I'm here. Of course, this is a place of power. Can you not feel it? It is a wonderful, wonderful place to live. But we do not
Oh yeah,
venture
oh yeah.
underneath, obviously.
I'm definitely feeling it.
Actually, you don't feel anything at all.
I know. I'm just like, oh crap! I just don't want this guy to kill us. Um, yeah. So, what do you guys think? Fortune favors the bold, I guess.
Right. Do you give us your leave to research, um, as long as we maintain your peace? Um, go back and forth.
I don't think you will need that. You will either succeed or you won't. It's not a very
All right.
difficult setup one here. I don't know anything about the other temples personally, but this one is very, very simple. There's an entryway, and then you have a guardian. If you can defeat the guardian, you will get your key, whatever that may be.
All right.
Cool.
Okay.
So,
Then thank you for the information.
No problem.
Um.
He stands, and as he stands up, he says, as he's saying, he says, "Follow me," and he
Mhm.
says, he looks over at one of the werewolves and he says, "Pause that." And the guy picks up the remote and pauses the video tape that's in there actually, and he walks along. And as he stands and moves, you notice that your medallions come start working on him. Whilst he was sit, for some reason you couldn't see his true form, but as he stands, you do. And he starts heading. I'm going to show that form in a second, but as he starts heading, he goes into an antechamber of this temple, and you see here there's like this little temple entrance. He points at it and he says, "That's where you need to go." Now, I should have separated these things out, but oh well. This is
Mhm.
what he looks like, really, by the way.
awesome.
Yeah. And this gateway in front of you here, this is the other side of it, but we'll wait till we get to I should have separated those pictures out. But nevertheless,
Mhm.
he points to it and he says, "Enjoy." And then he says, he starts walking back and he says, "Benny Hill does await."
Of course it does.
Yep.
Uh,
Good episode. You enjoy yourself.
do I see any as we're heading to the entrance? Do we see anything? Any writings? Anything that could give us a clue of what the creature or monster we're going to be facing is
Um,
about?
There are a few runes here and there, but it's of a language you probably know that no human alive even knows exists.
Mm,
So that's not much help to you. Most of it is overgrown. You notice in this room here that even though it's an ancient structure, stalactites and stuff have already started growing over it. That's how old this is, right? This
yeah.
is just ridiculously ancient place you've just walked into, just sitting here.
Oh boy. So look at you two guys because you guys are a lot more supernaturally attuned than I am. You guys feeling anything? You know anything about these things that they made back in the day?
Um, can I roll
No,
occult to see? See,
no,
nope.
no.
Okay.
This is way
Okay.
beyond. If you had like a cult 5 and you specialize in antediluvian or something like that, maybe. But no, this is
Okay.
you're out of your ken with this. Yeah,
Yeah. Out of our depths.
yeah.
Okay.
You like I'm actually looking at Sienna asking like, are you feeling anything? Because she was the one that got tapped by this antediluvian. So
Mhm. Well, Sienna, you actually feel nothing. None of you do. Yeah, matter of fact, even though you know the medallions are working right now and you're seeing what is true, it almost feels like there is nothing. You feel awkwardly nothing.
Hmm,
wow, this is this is not going to go the way we expect it to.
right. So, we got a choice. We continue going forward, or we go back, prepare our skills and knowledge, and then attack it. Um, so those are kind of like the two options. We're at the threshold. If we go in, we don't know what's going to happen. If we go back out, we might have a chance to prepare some more. So,
Uh, I don't know. What do you guys? I look at Sienna and Ragnar because they're the two that I think are the best combat people here. What
mhm.
do you guys think? Because I'm about as ready to fight as I'm ever going to be, unless somebody knows something about. Nobody knows what these things are.
No.
We already tried to find out. We already did as
Yeah.
much research as we possibly could. We're not going to find a weakness for this thing. So
Mhm. Well, Rhaegar
if it,
responds by taking his sword out.
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well, then that's it. We'll move forward. So
Uh,
I
I'm,
every
I'm
weapons ready as needed.
yeah, I'm not very good with this thing, but I'll do the best I can.
All right. You guys head forward. I need to have a marching order, please.
I'm in the back.
All
I'll
right.
take the
Take the front. Rhaegar would be up there with you for sure. He is a warrior base,
Yeah.
or he is now anyway.
Right.
And Al, I'm assuming you're sitting in the middle.
Right.
All right.
Support.
Now you guys head into this structure that you see here, and there's a stairwell
Mhm.
heading down. You
Oh,
guys head down into it.
Mhm.
These suits you have, I'm assuming you have the armor fully engaged.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
assuming, right? They
oh
have
yeah.
plenty of optics and stuff to help you see, so you don't worry about light and anything like that. But you guys are descending the stairwell, and I need everyone to give me a fortitude roll, please.
Okay.
um,
So would that be just rolling fortitude or just rolling stamina and fortitude?
It would be stamina, but if you have fortitude, then you can add that to the roll, of course.
Okay, so can we use the fortitude on the armor as well?
It has nothing to do with the
Or
armor. This has nothing to do with the armor whatsoever.
okay, so just fortitude
Just give me a
by
stamina
itself.
roll. If you have fortitude, add those dice, please. If you have a fortitude
Understood.
high enough that allows you something special with some kind of blood use, you could do that as well. But
Uh,
just yeah, it depends on what your powers are. But I need a stamina
all
roll is
right.
what I need. Yeah.
Okay.
Two
So
and two and an 8.
All right.
659.
Okay.
um, I need the link for the dice. I'm going back to get it now.
I got it for you, man. Hang on. I can
Okay.
drop it in there. Here we go. There you go.
Okay.
All right. You know how to make your rolls, right? It's every point of stamina and fortitude you have, you add that together. That gives you a pool of dice. You roll that dice and give me the totals, right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find the fortitude now.
Well, you might not have that discipline. You might not have
Uh,
it. This
two.
might just be a
No,
straight
yeah,
stamina
no,
roll.
he
No,
does.
he must have it. Actually, he's a warrior.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
It's down in
that's
the left-hand side.
yeah, it's gonna be under your disciplines
It's under
if you
Inside.
have
disciplines.
it.
You probably got 2 or 3 in the thing, dude.
Yeah.
10 side.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
right. How many are you rolling? 5 or 6? 7 maybe?
6.
6. Yeah.
Yeah.
3 5s, 2 4s, and a 6.
All right, all right. You guys are moving down. You feel a bit queasy. And matter of fact, this is probably the second time. I forget who I said it before, but from one of you, this is the second time you feel a queasiness in your stomach, and it almost reminds you of when you were human. For one of you, this is the second time this has happened. Actually, I forget which one of you it was,
No,
but
it's
Mock's character.
it was mocked. So this is the second time you've felt human again, which is an interesting sensation, I would say. You're a young vampire, so that's maybe something easy for you to remember, but still, it is odd because it's not something you ever feel since you've been a vampire. But nevertheless, you guys all feel it. You probably look at each other and mention Rhaegar feels it as well, but you guys keep descending the stairs. Now, at the bottom of the stairwell, you see a light. So as you emerge from that gateway, brings me back to the picture. Unfortunately, I screwed up and had to spoil. But as you come out of this light into this gateway, you see this.
Well,
uh
we're not in Kansas anymore. That's for sure.
yay.
Now,
I step back through the door. I mean, is it like, are we able to actually go back through the door?
yep, it's a permanent gate.
Oh, okay.
All right. Now,
Uh,
how many of you guys have occult lore? You probably all have at least one in it.
yeah, I've got one.
Yeah, I have cold.
I know you have a lot. But what about you, Mox? Do you have
1.
occult lore? One. You have one. So you guys wouldn't know much about this. Once Dinale mentions it, you would. Dinale,
Hmm.
you feel very confident that you've just stepped into the Umbra. Matter of fact, you're probably in the deep Umbra.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Guys, we're in the deep Umbra. Just
Um,
looking at this.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this where they are?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Where else would you put a prison for a key? I mean, really.
Awesome. So the longer we're here, the better the chances they're going to find us anyway.
Yes.
Well, yes.
So,
Now, the antediluvians do live somewhere in the deep umbra, and they don't spend time on Earth hardly ever. The only reason they come up in Kull, other than simply to maintain things, they live here to protect themselves, of course. But they live in the deep umbra, and then they come out every era, which is every 2,000 some odd years, and they
Hmm.
basically cull every vampire that's alive and store their blood for the next for their needs for the next 2,000 years, and they cull humans for the same reasons. That is the main, other than the control, it is the secondary reason. It is simply for them to have enough blood to last the 2 millennia.
Right.
Yeah, this is they are. But then again, keep in mind that the Umbra is limbo. It is heaven. It is hell. It is the extra dimensional plane that exists within the world of darkness. And the deep Umbra is there's much more terrifying things here than antediluvians.
okay. Well, to
We gotta move quickly.
yeah,
Anytime.
let's just go. It's uh
So we just have to get to the entranceway and meet the Guardian.
yeah.
So is there a path that
Oh yeah, a well lit one.
so we will follow the path quickly as possible?
Okay. Chester, I'm gonna
Mhm.
pull my drone out of my backpack,
Mhm.
and I'm sending it ahead of me.
Okay, no problem. All right. So you're controlling a drone. You guys are moving along cautiously, of course. The
Mhm.
drone is getting a look at things. You're seeing many weird things slithering about. Luckily, they're on different islands and precipices around you. You don't see anything directly at you here. But you guys, as you're walking along, you see this planet off in the distance and several other planets and large bodies. Sometimes it looks like space. Sometimes in certain areas, it just looks like some manner of colorful clouds, and other ways you see these gorgeous vistas of forest and stuff off in the distance. You do occasionally see extremely large shadows moving in the space, which literally looks like space above you. I mean, I'm talking like, moon-sized bodies moving and slithering through the darkness.
I'm recording all of this. Somebody's gonna pay a mint for this if we survive.
Maybe viral videos indeed. But you,
Mhm.
you guys travel for a bit. It's maybe a
Yeah.
good 10-15 minutes you've been walking along. You've had nothing encounter with you. You're surrounded, it seems, although in a way at distance, by some very weird and unnatural things. The things you're seeing here are not natural. Of course, this is the deep umbra, and that's to be expected. Now, of course, none of you have ever been to the Deep Umbra. I'm assuming Denali has probably been to the Umbra at least, simply
Mhm.
because of what his character is. But this is not someone gets to easily, or certainly hangs around very much. And it also might explain a little bit of why Joseph is so odd, because
Yeah.
for all we know, he's from here, right?
So
Uh,
you, any of you guys picking anything up here? I got nothing.
I don't sense anything.
Does my character sense anything with aspects?
no. Well, yeah, it's going crazy, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, not anything
Um,
particular. No.
n- we're in the deep umbra. I mentioned
Okay.
politely.
Nice.
All right.
So let's focus.
Now, as you guys are walking along, you come over a little hill, and
Mhm.
in the distance, it's probably about 100 meters away from you. You see
Mhm.
another gate, just like the one you came out of, but in between that, you see there's a dais. And floating on the above the dais, literally floating and glowing with a golden hue, is looks like a human, a female. You can't see very close detail from here, but there seems to be
Mhm.
some woman floating in a golden aura over a large dais. And lying in front of that dais, or seemingly resting, you see this.
Oh, geez. Awesome. So, yeah, I'm gonna guess that that's the Guardian, and she's either the key or she has the key.
Well, Joseph said it was simple.
And
He
how
picked.
big? Like, kind of, can we get an idea of how big this thing is?
Oh, sure, it's about the size of an elephant.
Mhm.
I mean, you're 100 meters away, but it's about that
Yeah.
kind of size, yeah.
Okay.
Denali, do you sense anything about this creature?
I'll pull my aspects towards it to see if I can pick
How
up
many
anything.
points and aspects do you have?
I have one dot in aspects
Okay.
heightened sense.
You're a bit far away to actually get any kind of that information off of it. But and
Mhm.
also because your auspex isn't that focused, your
Mhm.
everything else is going around you in this place is would be causing static, as it were. I mean,
Right.
any kind of sensory powers you have would be going crazy in here, because of it's just raw magic, raw Cthulhu.
Right. Okay. So it's just yeah, I would mention it's like I can't. This place is too weird. It's messing up with my senses.
Yeah. Now you said
Um.
this thing is. You said this thing is curled up in front of it, or is it like sleeping, or
It seems to be dozing, yes. Your drone is flying overhead, and by now, and you get a much better look at it. And yeah, the thing is dozing. You see the woman much clearer too now through your drone, and the woman is very attractive actually. She is unclothed, and she's just floating in this golden hue, and she seems to be racked with pain.
Hmm.
Can I use my ability of investigation in this situation?
Well, sure, if there was something to investigate, but in this particular case, it's not going to be very helpful to you. That is a very mundane, worldly skill, which is very useful.
Okay.
But in this case, it's not going to be very helpful as far as understanding the biological or pseudo biological dynamics of whatever this thing is.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. I don't do a whole lot of fighting. The only fighting I've ever done is in like World of Warcraft, so I'm gonna be speaking in those kind of terms. Who wants to tank this thing?
So I think we need a plan. I don't think we'll be able to defeat that guardian, but we can try to get the key and then run to the exit,
Yeah,
which is the other side.
I can obfuscate into shadows enough that I can move slowly towards this thing. If somebody can keep this thing busy or make it chase them, maybe I can get up to her and just grab her.
Now, Denali, are you looking at the drone? Because you're still quite a ways away. Are you looking at the
Yeah.
drone
Oh,
footage that Plague has?
yeah, I'm
Yes.
sharing this with everybody. Yeah, I'm
Sure.
like, here's what we're facing.
You can see it much clearer now. Give me
Hmm.
an occult roll, please.
Okay. Just a straight occult or occult with intelligence?
Of course, it's always with intelligence. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Does it include the kindred lore in there or no?
No, not in this case. No.
Okay.
No. Well, do you have a specialization in magic?
No,
Okay. No.
just kindred
No.
lore.
Yeah. No.
Okay. Okay, so I'll take that out and I will roll. I got 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, 6.
Jeez, man. Yeah, you know that that is a life link field that is around that girl, and so that field is linked to some life.
Okay, so I tell them like she can't escape. We can't take her out unless we take out the guardian. Looking at the feed, is there any weakness that I can point out and say this looks like a weakness that would hurt the creature?
Yeah, is it
This
like all
thing.
eyes or is it all ears or something? I mean,
Well, I mean, you're seeing the picture the same as I am. This thing does have
Yeah,
eyes. It's got teeth. It has many bits of anatomy that you have no clue what they are.
right,
This is very alien thing.
right.
this sucks.
Well,
Well, I'm sorry.
never.
Should I have made it easier?
I'm like that's what Plague says. This sucks.
Yeah.
If we toss a grenade at this thing, will it damage the girl inside of the field?
It might.
It depends
I
on
don't.
how powerful. Denali knows it's a life field, so not only is it capturing and holding a thing, it's preserving a thing, it's also protecting it in it, as a side effect. So there is a
Right.
field, a protective field around her. So how strong that is, you don't know. But Denali does know that these life link spells are connected directly to the power of the life force of of the individual it's linked to.
Okay. So while they're talking, one thing I'm going to do is spend 1 point of blood to activate uh, shadow play.
Hmm.
So I'm gathering darkness around me.
And that's is
What
that a scene use, or is that individual use?
What do you mean?
It
Meaning, is
means
it
can I use?
no. Is it a power that lasts the entire scene, or is it an instant use thing?
Tire scene until I
Okay,
dispel
thank you.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yep.
you do that. Anybody else want to do anything else?
Um. Yeah, I'm basically going to tell these guys. Listen, I'm going to be your backup. I'm going to hit this thing from a distance and hope to God that I actually hit it. But that's about as useful as I am in fight. So this is all on. Like I'm looking at Sienna and Ragnar's. Look, this is all on you guys, to be honest, because this is not my forte. This is not my milieu. But I'll do the best I can.
Yeah. So basically, what I would think is we have to incapacitate it so it doesn't move, and then just cut off the limbs, and then kind of, if this is made by vampires, then maybe it's kind of like the Mises, and we can maybe stake it and hold
Hopefully,
it in place.
whatever hurts us, hopefully hurts it.
Yeah. So I did bring the dragon fires with me.
Yeah.
So I'm holding that, and then I have the shadow cloaked over me to control the shadows to try to hold them down. And that's what I'm going to do.
Ragnar is being quiet as usual. He has his sword ready. He's in a kind of a low stance with one hand on the ground, kind of kneeled down, looking and studying this creature. Uh, you notice that he has, you don't know exactly what they are, but several disciplines and popped off on him. He's prepared.
Okay.
Now, Mox, can you tell me
Mhm.
what your disciplines are, please?
My disciplines are potence, fortitude, and celerity.
Okay. So I'm assuming you're going to turn everything on. Now,
Yeah.
have you studied your powers and understand how they work?
Somewhat, yes.
Okay, good. So you're going to use your use blood where necessary to get those things going. So just make sure you have all the knowledge you need for what those are going to do. All right, guys. You
Mhm.
can move into position pretty easily. This thing is sleeping. The drone hovering over top hasn't woken it. So you can get up pretty close to it. I'd say you get up because there are crags and rocks and little things that kind of hide behind as you're moving up. Excuse
Mhm.
me. And you get to the point where I'd say, oh, you're about 20 meters away from the creature who is slumbering in front of you.
Right.
What are you doing?
I'm going.
I,
I'm going to act. I'm sorry. I'm going to activate obfuscate, and I'm going to hide,
Hmm.
and hopefully I get a chance to take a shot at this thing when it's unawares.
All right. Well, it is unaware right now.
Yeah.
All right. So you're doing that. Dinale, what are you doing?
well, I have shadow play activated, so I tell the guys, tell me when to hold this creature down, and I'm going to use the shadows to try to hold the creature down as much as possible to
All
give
right.
everybody extra time.
Mox?
I'm gonna slip into position, get aim on the creature's head, and wave to Denali.
Okay.
And Rhaegar has moved a little closer. He's got his sword out in a back forward hand position, and he's looking back, waiting on you, Dinelli.
All right. Then I go ahead and uh, just tell the shadows, mystically to uh, grapple the creature.
All right, so we see all the shadows kind of lift up from behind Denali, stream and swirl and around in the air, heading toward this creature. The shadows come down and they start to grapple and embrace, which of course awakes the guardian, and he starts to get up. He's resisting a little bit, but you can tell his power is kind of beyond what that is. But he is struggling a bit, which of course
Mm-hmm.
causes Rhaegar and Mox to trigger. Rhaegar is just doing a straight charge in with his sword, and you're going to get the shot first because you're using ranged weapons. Go ahead, Mox.
I'm gonna fire a 458 SOCOM at the monster and unload the magazine.
All right. Are you using any special ordnance?
The dragon breath rounds.
All right. Very well. That's expensive. All right. So you
Yeah.
level off and you take your shot. So now what we're going to do is you're going to roll your what is in this game? Dexterity, right?
For firearms, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
dexterity.
well, no, agility or dexterity. I couldn't remember what the word was. But you got to roll
Yeah.
your dexterity and your firearms. So go ahead.
Okay, dexterity and 6. Um,
Now, keep in mind, you do have your celerity popped. I do believe, depending on his level, there is a celerity that would add to this roll.
Let me
It
see
gives you
what he
additional
needs.
actions.
Right, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So
For each point of celerity, add 1 dice to every dexterity related dice roll. In
that's
addition,
right.
the player can spend 1 point,
One
one
blood.
blood point to take an extra
That's right.
action up
That's
to
right.
the number of dice he has in celerity
That's right.
at the beginning.
There
Yeah.
you go. How many points in celerity do you have?
1.
Oh, okay, so you're getting +1 to this roll. So add an additional dice. Go ahead and roll that together. So that is dexterity, firearms, and +1 dice. And tell me what you got. These are standard attack rolls, so and it's a big creature, so it's not like this is a particularly difficult roll. So it's standard.
It's 2 7s, 3 5s, and 2 4s.
All right. So you actually get 4 successes on hitting this thing. Now the damage with the dragon breath is lethal. And the Dragon Breath actually is going to cause him to make a roll and possibly make additional damage, which I am doing right now. Okay. All right. One of those 4 actually did more damage to him than it should have. He failed on 1. And you've done huge, big chunk of damage. You actually see a piece of his shoulder is like loose, and the thing kind of screams in terror with and of course it is terrifying when it screams, but it's certainly in pain. And that's your first action. You're going to be able to do another action if you want to spend a blood.
Would I be able to reload and shoot again?
Yes, no, of course. Yeah.
Okay, I'd spend 1 blood to do that.
All right. And give me another roll. You just quickly drop another mag in and you start going at it.
I have 8, a 9, a 10, a 5, 1, 6, and 4.
Okay, you have a 1. What was your highest number?
10.
Okay. But that 1 is going to take off one of the other successes. You got a 10, which is double. Let me make my rolls here. Hold on a second. Okay. Now his right arm is completely fallen off. Now the thing is screaming. It's spurting out black oozy blood, and you've done a huge amount of damage to it. With that, Rhaegar is now upon it, and Rhaegar goes up, and you see him take 3 swipes at this thing, not 1. And let me make his rolls real quick.
Jeez.
Okay. All right. The front part of its face is now fallen off, as well as badly damaged to the left arm. As Rhaegar rolls up on the other side with his sword kind of leaning behind him. Dinale, you're still doing your thing. Plague, would you like to take a putink at him?
You know what? I just got a surge of courage watching these guys do this. Yeah, I'm gonna burn a point of blood for celerity. I'm gonna take 2 shots at this thing
All right, go ahead.
because I feel like I'm awesome all of a sudden.
So basically, how many celerity do you have? 1 or 2?
1.
You have 1. So you got to roll your dexterity, your firearms, and add 1 to that roll.
Right.
And you got to do it twice.
Okay.
And you're
First
using
roll.
are you what ordinance are you using?
I'm using the shotgun with the dragon breath in it.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so I got a 9, a 2, a 2, and a 1.
All right.
So that's going to
You
automatically
miss.
negate.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, but you don't fumble. So go ahead and roll again. You
Okay.
spend that blood. Remember to use that blood.
Oh, yes. Oh, jeez. 3 9s and a 10.
Jeez. All right. And you're using the dragon fire rounds, right?
Yep. Hang on
Now,
a minute. I'm gonna share this just so everybody knows I'm not lying.
all right. I got
Yeah.
the screen taken up with a guardian, but Nevertheless, very good, nice roll. Now you hit the thing up around the head area, and
Mhm.
you actually do so much damage to it that the head is literally hanging on by the spine. And this thing is gurgling and making all kind of noises and such. And then it's its turn. Uh,
Oh, jeez.
it stands up completely now. The shadows, your shadows you're using dissipate, Denali.
Okay.
And all the damage you just did instantly regenerates. And it
Crap.
Oh,
starts
oh.
it, it starts charging at one of you. It's either going to be Sienna or Rhaegar. Let me make a roll real quick. Okay, it chooses Sienna. So Sienna, this thing is charging at you. It leaps in the air. It lands. Its thing is elephant size, right? It lands down next to you, and it takes a swipe at you with its arm. Okay, hold on a second. You take 5 lethal damage.
Oh.
Now, keep in mind your suit soaks 3. All right. So you just took 2 lethal above and beyond. Lethal. That is not normal. That's lethal damage. You understand the difference, Mox? Mox? Did I lose Mox?
He's muted.
Mox, you gotta turn yourself back on, dude. Oh, don't tell me I lost him right in the middle of a combat. Really? We're working our way up to this the whole time. Oh wow, we did. Because I'm not getting any response from him at all.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
He wanna hang loose for a second and
Yeah, well, he's not dead, but he is damaged, and of course the 3 lethal. What did he take? He took 2 lethal
He's
damage.
back.
Are you there, Mox?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So did you hear what I said?
You said he isn't dead. He took massive damage.
Oh wow, you missed that whole other bit. All right. Now the creature, it's his turn. He regenerates completely. And as he said, he just kind of stands up, and Denali's shadows dissipate. They just disappear, right? He runs and then jumps at you, and as he lands, he kind of swipes one of those arms at you, hits you. You take 5 lethal damage. All right. Now the suit you're wearing absorbs 3 of that. So this brings you down to 2 lethal. Now he has how many points of fortitude do you have?
I have 2.
You have 2. Isn't there something, Bob, in Fortitude that allow him to maybe soak more of that?
I believe so, yeah. Give me 1 second to grab
Uh,
it.
a character's rating in Fortitude adds to his stamina for the purpose of soaking normal damage, bashing, and lethal. Discipline. A character with this discipline may also use his dot in Fortitude to soak aggravated damage, though the Kindred cannot normally soak things like vampire vice, wolf, magical effect, fire, sunlight, and massive physical trauma.
Yeah, so he can't absorb it anyway.
Isn't there something that it isn't there I don't know if he's got high enough to do that, but isn't there something in Fortitude that lets you burn a willpower to do that?
No, that's a good point. But also, because this is full lethal damage, I don't even know if he can even
Mhm.
make a soak roll
Let's see.
at all,
Um,
because this is as lethal gets.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's fully aggregated, so I don't even know if he gets a soak. I don't think he gets a soak.
Let me look at
If
soaking.
Well, you can try to
if it's
soak and not take damage, right?
well, yeah, it's if it's lethal, then if he's doing aggravated damage, it's up to you. You're the storyteller at this
Yeah,
point.
no, I think the point with this creature is you can't soak it at all.
Okay. Okay.
Unless you can use a willpower or a blood that with a power that lets you do that. But I think with a fortitude, I don't think he can actually soak this at his fortitude level.
Right.
Because
Let's
you
see.
said you had 2 in fortitude, right?
Yeah, I have 7 points from experience from last week that I didn't get to add to my character yet.
Is that enough to point up a for I don't even know if that would help you though. Just hold on to that though.
No.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
um,
It wouldn't be enough.
Yeah. Now, because you did take 2 lethal damage, if you look on that chart on the sheet down with damage, you'll see that as you take lethal, it starts giving you minuses to dice. Now with the 2 damage, does that bring you into a minus yet? I think it's 3 actually.
Um,
Yeah, he does. He's at hurt, so that he should be at -1.
-1.
Yeah.
So just keep in mind that everything you do from now on, Mox, you're at -1 dice to do it because you're injured. All right.
Yeah.
And the creature looks across the short distance between you and Mox, Dinale, and he looks over at you, and of course he sees the hiding plague behind him as well, and he looks right at you and is like he roars, "Roar!" He's very pissed off. He doesn't have much in the way of dialogue, but
Hmm.
you see as he does that, he seems to take another action this round. But
Hmm.
that action is that he begins to glow slightly with a blue hue, very subtle, but he begins to
Yeah.
glow. He activated something.
Oh
But
boy.
anyway, that brings us to a top of the round, new round. Let's go ahead and start with Plague.
Well, it's not like I can hide from him now.
No, he can see
So,
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna burn another blood, and I'm gonna take 2 more shots at this guy. Um,
All right, what is your ordinance that you're using?
it's the same gun,
All right,
the shotgun. Real quick, after we actually, I'm gonna try and take a shot at his eyes.
Call shot.
Yeah, I don't know if there are called shots in Vampire though.
there are.
There are.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try and take a shot at his eyes.
All right, it's just going to increase the difficulty of the roll. So just do the same thing before, but just tell me what your numbers are.
Okay. 7, 2, 1, and 3, so nothing.
Nothing. And the second shot, you got to spend a blood for this. Keep track of that, okay?
Oh yeah. 9, 7, 4, and 2.
All right, that was much better. The 9 and 7 do hit, and you hit its eyes. The eyes explode one after the other, and the thing screams in pain. And Dinelli.
Okay, so I'm gonna spend a point of blood to blood buff
Mhm.
myself. So that gives me what, 2 dice or one dice?
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's 1 or 2.
Your call. Is it 1 or 2?
Well, I don't know. What does the power say?
No. It's a base power. It's a buff, a blood buff.
Yes, I understand that, but what does the power say that you gain from that?
Let me see. Basically, I add a dice to it. Let me see. Where are you? Where are you? Yeah, so yeah, I'll just put one die.
All right.
Because
Now,
I can't find it.
Now,
Go ahead.
does this ability allow you to buff yourself and act in the same round, or do you have to wait till next
Yeah.
round?
No, it's a reflective action.
Okay,
So
go ahead.
so I add 1 dice to my rolling.
And what are you going to do?
So I'm going to use firearms.
All right.
Um,
And what is your ordinance?
the dragon fire as well,
All right.
because I specifically said that, and I'm going to do a call shot as well.
All right. Makes it more difficult, but go ahead.
Yep, but it's better if I do it or not. Let me see. 3, 4.
What do you call
Yeah.
shotting?
The head.
All right.
Okay. 10, 6, 5, 6, 9.
All right. You do get a couple of successes in there, and you hit the head, and you hit the kind of perfect spot. And the thing lets out a whimper, and it falls to the ground, seemingly dead. Rhaegar has crossed the distance between him and Sienna. He comes up and he takes actually a long action instead of doing multiple ones, and he literally severs the head from the body. Okay.
I was
Yeah.
just
And then
I was just going to ask if we could soliloquy and say, just cut its head off.
Yeah.
he did. And Sienna, what are you doing?
Um, does the creature appear to be dead, or does it appear to still be regenerating or magical in any way?
It seems dead.
Mm, I'll back off and head towards the girl in the energy field, the
All right.
life field.
And
Mhm.
Keep my weapon trained on the monster.
you're waiting. Okay. It is the Guardian's turn. It stands up completely healed. The head comes back on, it reforms, the eyes reform, everything reforms. It's pissed, and it turns on Rhaegar, and it goes at him as hard as he can. And this time, unlike last time, the glow comes back. By the way, he when he regenerates, he takes 2 swipes at Rhaegar. Let me make a roll here.
Yikes.
Wow. I missed Rhaegar completely. That's like impossible. How did I do that? All right. Well, Rhaegar dodges really well. He looks quite deft as this thing swings at him very oafishly, and Rhaegar bounces off rocks, spins in the air, does all kind of stuff, and lands with his sword ready, unscathed. I really surprised that happened, but it did. So it brings us to the top of the round. Now, this creature is completely healthy. There's not a single scratch on him, and he's extremely powerful. You can see the damage he did to Sienna in that suit, even because there's damage and cuts in that suit and stuff, and you see that Sienna is bleeding out of the suit, not bleeding out, but bleeding out of the suit, and it's extremely powerful. There's some kind of magic going on with a blue aura. You don't know what that is. You guys are extremely ineffective. What are you gonna
I have a
do?
question. I have a question for you, Chester.
Hmm.
When it went down and it seemed to be dead, did the field around the woman disappear?
No,
Okay.
no, it did not. Let me come see if this. Let me come over here and check and see if the chat is smarter than you guys.
I think I have an idea here.
Hmm.
Nope, the chat is just watching you bumble. All right, sweet.
Yeah.
All right, what are you guys gonna do? It's back to the top with plague.
I'm gonna turn the gun on her. I'm gonna shoot her.
Okay, go ahead. What ordinance are you using?
Same ordinance.
All right, go for it.
I'm not burning a blood this time because I get the feeling I'm gonna need it to soak and run.
All right.
Okay, where'd my thing go? Okay. Well, it lagged out on me for a second. Hang on.
All right. We're waiting.
Oh, okay. 7, 8, 9.
They all hit. And as these rounds, these are little as these bullets fly through the air, they hit. They actually explode in like a very dark, like a burnt orange type of fire, and a little ball of fire as they do. And it's almost as if the fire almost creates like a little maw and does extra damage onto whatever it's shooting. They're very magical rounds. But you let off 3 that each of them hit, and they hit perfectly. And you see the golden aura wane, and the creature cries out in extreme agony and anger.
Okay, everybody. Okay. Oh, can I soliloquy real quick?
Of course you can.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Shoot the woman.
Dinale?
Okay. That's what I'm doing. I'm spending another blood to buff myself and to shoot the woman. So
Go for it.
take that out. Okay.
I can't
got
believe I didn't
10
drop Rhaegar. I thought for sure I was going to drop him.
I thought he
Damn.
was dead.
10, 5, 9, 3, 8.
You hit very high successes for the first attack. Second
Mhm.
attack?
Mm-hmm.
You said you're spending a blood for 2 attacks, right?
No, just to buff.
Oh, just to buff yourself. All right, you hit
Yeah.
with a single shot. It once again hits very accurately, of whatever that means in this case. But the shield wane, the golden ore around her wanes even more. The creature is to the point that it actually grabbing its head and thrashing about. Ragar understands what is happening, and he runs back at full speed and barely makes it to there. But he does take a swipe, and let me see if he hits here. It's not hard, but
Come on, Ragnarok. Come on, Ragnarok.
okay. Now Ragar gets it, and he does hit, and it causes more damage to the shield, and the creature is writhing even more. It's actually falls to the ground and starts rolling. Go ahead, Sienna.
I'm gonna use the gun again and open fire on the woman.
Okay. Are you
So,
taking a single shot, or are you going to spend blood to go twice? Or you got celerity. You got to spend
Yeah.
you got to spend blood to go again.
no, just the one time.
Are you sure?
No, no. Shoot.
Okay, I will.
All right.
Uh,
Hmm.
and that's firearms and
And dexterity. Plus, you get to add your celerity, which is 1 to it. So you get an additional dice
uh,
in the pool. Right.
and then I lose one for
That's right. That's
the
right.
hurt. That's still back to 6.
All right. So go ahead and roll 6 dice and tell me what you get. And you're using the gun, and you're using the same ordnance.
Yes, sir.
All right. Go ahead.
I got 8, a 7, a 6, a 5, 3, and 2.
All right. And the second shot.
I got 3 nines, a 7, a 6, and a 2.
Wow, nice rolls, guys. You hit the
Mm.
first shot, brings the golden ore to very dim. The creature is just losing its damn mind on the ground, writhing around like a dying alligator. And the second one shatters the shield, and she drops to the ground with a audible thud, wet thud, actually, as she hits the ground. And the creature stops writhing, and then literally explodes in front of you, throwing ick and gore across the entire area, which includes all of you. You are dripping with him.
We've
Mm.
been slimed.
You have been
Hooray.
slimed. Yes, you
Yeah.
have. Yes. But now, as you
Mm.
guys are kind of looking to see if the thing's going to stand up or come back at you like it has every time, it does
Hmm.
not. But what you do see happening, the woman is moaning and making all kind of pain sounds, and Ragar, of course, is the closest to her, and he's immediately on top of her, trying to check her and care for her. You notice that Ragar moves very much like a samurai would, like you've seen in a movie or something. He's that kind
Right.
of guy. He uses a nihonto and everything. But as he's doing that, you guys are trying to make a decision whether this combat is done or not. And what happens is coming. You see that an essence, a cloud, rises up out of the remains of this creature, even off of you, and they form in front of you into kind of like a hologram, really, a magical hologram. And standing in front of you, you see, well, it's very big in the air. This is a hologram
Hmm.
that's not actually there. But you see what seemingly is the most ancient vampire you could possibly imagine. And he actually cordially bows to you. He says, "Well, very interesting. I am Malkov. You have passed the first test, but now we know how to judge you. Thank you for giving us this information. Do you really think
Oh.
you can raise the father?" He's looking at you guys in front, not Ragar behind, by the way.
I don't know, but what's up?
Malkov. Oh boy. So that means the Melkavians are going to be against us.
Ooh.
Possibly. That is actual Malkavian standing in front of you, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, my freaking butt is clenched.
He said he
well,
kind of chuckles to himself and he says, "Well, I guess good luck to you, but do understand that we will be preparing treats for you, and Good luck. And he just disappears as if a wind had blown him away.
Real quick, can we have the key? I mean, we
She,
did kind of earn
she,
it.
she's the key.
Now, you
Go get
see,
the key.
Rhaegar is over there calming the woman. And I'm assuming you
Mhm.
guys approach. She's on this dais. What you see is now that you're closer and you get a better look without that all that kind of glow on her and stuff. What you see is she is attractive, woman, female. Her body is very attractive, but she almost seems to be some kind of subhuman type. Actually, she doesn't seem to be the same type of human that you are. Her body does. She's not like she's hairy or anything. She's quite lacking hair, just like a modern woman would. But her brow ridge is more pronounced. She just seems more primitive. Rhaegar is trying to talk to her, but she obviously understands nothing he's saying. She's very confused and bewildered, but she seems unscathed, however.
Is she a human?
Yeah, like I'm saying, just from none of you here are anthropologists or doctors or anything like that, but she just seems like a primitive
Wait,
form of human.
I
time
mean,
out.
is she like
What?
alive? Is she a vampire or is she like
Oh no,
alive?
no, she's
I
human.
had
She's pure human. Yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying.
Oh,
Chester. I have dots in medicine. Would that work
Oh
to
yeah, sure. I
investigate?
didn't know you had that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. You don't need to roll it. This seems to be a Cro-Magnon.
I would mention to the guys she's a Cro-Magnon.
As far as you know. But like I
Yeah.
said, she doesn't look too different from a modern human. It's just a little bit around the face, but she has this primitive quality to her. She's yapping on now. She's very scared and panicked, but she's yapping on in some. You have no clue what language she's talking, but she's not running. She's not fighting. She's just kind of looking up you with you at you, terrified, almost puppy dog like. Now there is a
Um.
glowing gate beyond you, about 50 meters away, 50 yards away from you. But other than that, nothing is happening. Although you do notice that the creatures that have been moving above you, the extremely large ones, not necessarily the really, moon-sized ones, but the larger creatures that have been flying above, they do
Mhm.
seem to be coming lower.
yeah.
Let's
Let's
get
get.
out of here.
Yep, yep. We can sort this out later.
Right.
So, um, somebody, I guess one of the strong guys, grab her and let's beat feet.
I'll grab the woman and we'll start heading back.
She starts screaming and making noise. You can tell she's complaining, and she does kind of whack at you a couple times. She is struggling. It's a pain in the ass. What do you want to do?
Um, I have a vicious strength. So can I use that to subdue her and control her to get her where we need her?
Oh no, no, that's the only reason you're really able to keep moving with her in your arms. They're just saying she is kind of thrashing around about a lot, but you're more than strong enough to deal with it. Yeah, sure.
I'll
I'm
just
just
smack
curious
her.
if that's what I was getting at. Yeah, you smack her in the head and she's like in her Cro-Magnon. But you
Shut
guys,
up.
shut up. You guys get to
Yeah.
the gate and there's a stairway. And you guys start heading up it. Now, nothing comes through the gate after you at all. And this is a different stairwell, though. This is a spiral stairway. It's cut into the stone, and there are these strange magical torches on the wall, like you've seen many places since you've been here in Grable. And you just keep going up and up and up and up and up, and finally you see above you there's an opening is forming as you guys are moving. And when you come up into the light, not the light, but the light of the moon above, you find yourself standing on top of something. And after a moment or two of looking around, you kind of get an idea where you are. You are standing on top of Devil's Tower, which is many miles away from the city of Grable.
Somebody call the plane.
Wow.
How the hell are we gonna get down from this thing?
It's a good point. Good point. Good question.
Oh God. You guys did say you wanted climbing gear.
But just so you
Yeah.
guys know who are listening, Devil's Tower is very near to Grable.
Yeah, we're gonna have to call and get a helicopter out here or something because I can't climb down this thing.
Well,
Can I use
I'm
because we're
really
still in
least
this.
worried about that, but go ahead.
I was gonna say, since we're still in the same scene, can I use shadow play um to climb down? Use the shadows to just
Yeah,
help me
sure,
go
why
down.
not? That's not really an obstacle I put in your place, guys. I just wanted to show off
Yeah.
Devil's Tower.
I know.
But yeah, so yeah, Denali uses the shadows to help you guys work down, and of course, you calling into having the truck come over to pick you up is easy enough, and those guys will comply, of course. But you get yourself down. The truck is there, and you guys shuffle in, and I'm assuming move out as quick as possible. You don't want to go back and talk to Joseph, do you?
Actually, I look at you guys like, hey, should we go back and say, hey, thanks, got what you needed?
No.
Do you want to deal with the werewolves?
Um, I
What if he's
really want
not
to brag.
happy with
I want to brag so bad. No. It's,
There
yeah,
you
let's.
go. There's your answer. But we do need to understand what this woman's doing, so we need to find um, a translator who knows what she's talking about.
Well, maybe
Um,
I mean, we gotta find someone super friggin' old.
Is there
right,
nothing you can do with the internet to find anything at all about this?
Oh, the internet would be completely useless to you. I
where
would say Ragar says that probably the easiest thing we do would be talk to a mage and get him to cast a polyglot spell.
right,
Yeah, something that lets us communicate. I was gonna say find someone that can read our mind or something, but that's about it.
Yeah, there are many ways to communicate with her. Sure, this is a magical world, so.
Yeah, but at any rate, let's get the hell out of Dodge before the wolves decide to make a snack out of us.
Now, when you guys and you notice the werewolves here, who are usually very aggressive against vampires, they didn't really care much about you. Actually, they didn't pay any
Yeah,
attention to you at all. They were very lackadaisical. But then again, you guys you didn't make an aggressive approach. You took a diplomatic one. So that's all well and good. But your travel back to the airport is without incident. Although, as you guys are out of the Umbra and back up top, there is chatter coming across the wire. And of course, Plague, you would definitely be linked into that. And Ragar is also on a tablet, furiously going over. The cities of London and Rome have fallen.
oh jeez. So they're not.
crap.
So basically, we just set it off.
Well, you don't know, but you know that now you're back. You know that Gehenna was beginning. You know it's going to take a long time for it to be ultimately complete. But London has fallen, and as has Rome. And the vampires are talking about it. There's the news is showing that there was some kind of meteor strikes in both cities, but the vampires are saying that's nonsense. The simply antediluvians have risen. And in the city of London, particularly, Malkov himself is walking the streets.
Yep. So they're moving.
Yeah.
Okay, where are we going next?
Well, that's a question. We are done for today, but and this was, and you understand from what Malkov said to you that this key was to test your strength and therefore to adjust for you in the future, is what he said, right?
Yep.
So
Right.
this might seem easy, but it was easy intentionally, right?
Yep.
But you are holding a key, I guess. You don't know exactly what she is, but you need to make a decision. During this Gehenna Rising storyline, are you guys going to simply operate out of the Hercules airplane and simply go to each location and deal with that it is? Or are you going to go back to Boston? What are you going to do? You could even go somewhere else. You do have access to a lot of resources. It might not be a lot of vampire resources because they're busy, but you do have access to resources. You do have military clearance right now, so there are options, and I'd like to know what you're thinking.
Do we? I don't know if we want to keep her with us. if we go there. I mean, if it again, just speaking purely from a mercenary standpoint,
Mhm.
if we fall, at least they've got one key.
No, because that if they if if we don't have the keys and we need them, it's going to be bad.
Oh, you mean you need one key to unlock the next one and all that kind
Yeah,
of thing?
we don't know if we go to that and say sorry, you need the key, the girl, to unlock those other temples. So we need to get more information about this. We need to talk to the prince and ask him about actually getting the original book to translate this. And we need
Yeah.
a polygraph. So we need to go back to Boston.
Polyglot. A polyglot.
Sorry,
Yeah.
polyglot.
Yeah. We definitely need to go back because we got to be able to talk to her.
Right.
Mhm. And
Uh,
in truth, you guys have no clue what she is.
exactly.
You
Yeah,
don't know anything. You know that wasn't easy. I mean, in the end, you guys didn't. No one really dropped. I didn't really get a lot of good hits in there, but it wasn't easy per se. But it was easy, right?
Yeah.
hmm I
Well,
mean,
I
it was
mean,
very straight. It was very straightforward.
it was
I
very
mean,
straightforward. Now, of course, you guys could took a little longer to see that because I did. There actually were two options in there. Was either one that Bob took or changing your ordinance. I kept using that word intentionally. What
hmm
ordinance are you using? I was saying to you guys, right? But nevertheless, that was a simple challenge, but we'll see what the next ones hold. And you guys need to make a decision where you want to go to the next one anyway. Sounds like you want to go back to Boston. Is that right?
right.
Yeah, initially, yeah.
All right, cool. So then the plane is heading back there, and we will pick it up next week at that. Anyway, thank you guys for being in here. A lot of you stayed for a long time. That is awesome, guys. We've been here almost 3 hours, which is a little longer than I wanted to go today, but I knew it would be longer, so I kind of planned for it. But
Hmm.
nevertheless, I hope you're enjoying the story. It was kind of our first step into gathering the keys to unlock the tomb of, or excuse me, the prison of Cain. I'm kind of wondering if I call this Gehenna Rising. Maybe I should have called it Cain Rising. But we'll see if they're successful. Do you guys got any questions or anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Nope, we're good.
Nope, I'm good.
All right, rock on. All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. Hope you're enjoying this story. We're going to continue this every Tuesday here on Bugbear's Basin until we finish this season. And then, if you guys like it, we might do a second season in the future, for sure. There's a lot of things we can do in Boston. There's a lot of things that can go forward. Of course, it depends. Do these guys are they able to stop Gehenna, or do they have to live within Gehenna? These are choices that could definitely be very important to storytelling, I'd say. Nevertheless, thank you very much. And Dinale, take us out of here, man.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us for Bugbear's Basement, watching us play Vampire the Masquerade campaign, Gehenna Rising. Join us tomorrow for Games Today, where we're going to be talking games instead of comics. Follow that by Blacklist Universe Drawn and Quarter Pro Edition. And then Thursday will be the regular Comics News Today, followed by the fan edition of Drawn and Quarter. Friday will probably be Bunny Vision movie night and watch a new movie. And then this Saturday, we have a special guest, Ben Hennessy from Cautionary Comics, as our guest for Fan Speak. So join us for those shows.
Awesome.
Woohoo.
But as always, your perception shapes your reality, so always make it a good one.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thanks, guys.
Aloha.